Hello, and welcome to Test Pattern, a podcast about people and their relationship with movies. I'm Angus Truskett, and each episode I'm joined by someone I admire to talk all things film and get to know them through the movies that have shaped them. Today, I'm joined by Al Newstead, author of the brand new entry in the 33 and a third. Now, is it Oceania?
Oceania. I've been saying Oceania. So
Oceania series on Tame Impala's...
Oceania?
All right. Author of the brand new entry in the 33 and a third Oceania series on Tame Impala's seminal 2015 record Currents. The 33 and a third series, if you don't know, focuses on short books about individual albums and the stories around them. Al is also Double J's music and pop culture reporter and a former Triple J music news producer, which is where he and I first worked together. I've always been a huge fan of Al's writing, and we became quick friends in the office thanks to a shared love of movies, anime, video games, and countless other topics that I'm sure are going to pop up today. Al, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gussie. What a dream. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for wanting to come on. You know, it really legitimizes this show to say author. That's
yeah,
a first.
I'm definitely getting used to that.
I mean, you are a writer, author. How does that feel? What's that level up like for the bio?
Still figuring it out, I think. The book is still relatively new. Like, it's been out maybe a month now, so it's still in that sort of surreal, like, oh my God, it's a real thing out in the world. So yeah, hearing author is a bit like, whoa, hang on. This sounds really silly, but I'm still very uncomfortable with the idea of being a journalist. Like, I didn't actually study journalism. I just feel like I'm a nerd who just kept doing it.
Yeah, have you seen what counts for journalism these days, though? Trust me, brother. You are a journalist.
Yeah, if I can ask someone the connection between Joni Mitchell and Princess Peach, then I'll be a true journalist.
Singular is obviously the answer. What a great moment that was this week.
It was wild.
Because I'm like, kudos to him. He knows, and you know, I and you too. We, as part of our jobs, we do interview people, and you are given a needle to thread through of time. Like, you're given such a small amount of time to speak to somebody. And sometimes you got big picture questions you got to ask.
You got to take a swing.
Sometimes,
as wild as it is.
Sometimes you got to ask Anya Taylor-Joy the similarities between Princess Peach of Nintendo fame.
I think she should get the credit because she basically put the question together. He was kind of just like, so with this and that. Anyway.
He probably had a producer off camera going like,
wrap it the hell up, brother.
And she just kind of, I mean, if you didn't think she was a good actor before,
yeah.
Her performance on like Good Morning America, one of the best. But no, I think author definitely outranks journalist. Like, if I was like you and wrote a book rather than just talk about it, and I would definitely lead with author. It's definitely
got like a musk to it that's quite nice.
Yeah. And
Old world musk.
I've been very lucky the last 24 hours. You and I have been sitting across from one another with microphones in our hands. Last night was unrecorded. It's not just a habit that we get into as millennial men, can't talk without a microphone or something being recorded, but we actually launched your book, Tame Impala Currents, in Sydney last night.
That's right.
Which was great because you live in Melbourne and you've launched it in Melbourne with friend of the show and friend of our life, Zan Rowe, one of the GOATs, and you asked me to help you launch it in Sydney. It was such a great night. I feel so lucky that I get to sit next to you with microphones, is my long-winded way of saying, for 2 days in a row.
Yeah, likewise, man. It was so good. And I couldn't think of anyone else that could and would do it. And yeah, it was a great time. And it seemed like the audience really enjoyed it. And just having all those shared connections. Like when you're doing that intro and you're like, we bonded over all the things that we like. It like just makes sense. Yeah.
Everything. I know many will come up. Many a dull work day was made brighter by doing Admiral Akbar's, Neimoidians, any Star Wars glop shitto. You have a impeccable recall and mimicry of so many things, which was great. But also our love, we really bonded over anime. You and I are the same age, essentially, I think. Age is but a number, but you kind of, I know I stopped thinking about age when you hit kind of early 30s. Everyone's kind of the same age, I find.
I think the best way to describe that is like you and I grew up in an era where a lot of that stuff was not easily accessible.
That's
like,
right.
You really... had to seek it out. You really had to like, you know, find the shop that had the DVD version of the show you wanted to watch. You had to like imagine what limited edition merch of a 1980s film that you like. And in the pop culture now, like all of that stuff is accessible all the time.
Dude, they sell it at the airport.
Yeah.
Literally, like you'll be buying a book, 33 and a third Oceania, Tame Impala Currents, obviously, at the checkout, and there's like a wall of Funko Pops of like every fringe.
Everything.
And you're like, yeah, you're right. I have thought about it, but I've never put it so eloquently, which is why I'm not the author. But, you know, you had to, and I know you were the same. We had to watch our beloved Neon Genesis Evangelion, who had 6 minutes until we spoke about it, timed, because congratulations. You probably won some money. But, you know, we had to set a
tape
VCR.
It off SBS, yeah.
8:30 Saturday nights, 1999.
Let's carbon date ourselves, yeah.
Literally, yeah. And that was something that you did have to seek. And I think that's a really interesting double-edged sword where I think accessibility is great and I think everyone should access everything. But is there too much now? I don't know. Is it too easy to access things? I
mean, end of podcast.
Yeah, okay. We wrapped that one up. We also had 6 minutes as the shortest episode yet. But no, it is kind of like, you know, you feel like we'd need, I don't know, some patches on our arms that said we did a tour of SBS. And, you know, when we see a kid watching Evangelion for the first time on their Apple Vision Pro on Netflix.
Yeah.
And we're just like, you know, we used to have to watch it dubbed. It wasn't a choice.
Yeah. And it's also like, it's not a thing of like, we walked through 50 feet of snow. No. It's like, another great example is I was in regional Victoria recently, and in the bookshop, they had like Ghibli merch. And that was another thing where I was like, I can remember like seeing Princess Mononoke at the Astor, and then I couldn't get access to, you know, the earlier films like Nausicaa or Laputa, and would like look at images and just kind of imagine what those films are like. And like, that's again, not to be like, oh, you guys have got it easy. It's like, that's great. I love that
it's cool
Miyazaki has become an established auteur and celebrated filmmaker, and that stuff isn't marginalized the way it used to be.
I remember, you know, to talk about Evangelion again, stop me if you've heard this one before, but I remember hearing about, you know, the movie that wraps things up, because people were, you know, there was so much misinformation about people being upset with the finale, which wasn't that true. It was just, you know, different, the TV finale, that is. And I remember on a blog spot, or maybe a GeoCities actually back then, to further carbon date ourselves, somebody had described the whole movie, an English speaker who was living in Japan at the time, someone who wasn't Japanese, a gaijin, if you will, and they typed out the plot with scanned photos of one of the great traditions of Japanese cinema, as I know you're aware, and I'm in possession of quite a few of the programs you buy. And the end of Evangelion came with, there's a fabled book, which it's always in my search on eBay, called like the Red Book, it's become known as, and it's basically a glossary of terms, and the closest pre-Wikipedia type of glossary for terms of Evangelion. And I think canonized a lot of things that people weren't sure about, like the eggs from the moon. Like right now, people are going, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Is this the same podcast? Yeah.
But that is how I engaged with End of Evangelion. I remember sitting on our Bondi Blue iMac in the home office and on our dial-up, and scrolling down and seeing the guy describe the scans from that Red Book, of which showed art and scenes from the movie, and him recreating the movie basically via picture and text. And if anyone's ever seen that movie, you kind of have to be a certain type of person to be able to put into words the second half of that film. So yeah, I do remember engaging and just having to do a little digging. Do you miss it?
Do I miss digging?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to sit with that one. I mean, it's like research, right? And research always tickles a part of your brain. Tickles a part of my brain I really like. So I do kind of like that. But then it's also, yeah, like you sort of hinted at, the information overwhelm. But yeah, kind of have to just remember front of mind that it's like the fact that you can access these things, that it's not being gate kept, or like, you know, even the fact that we have restorations and 4K releases of film, some which absolutely should not be restored, like let them be lost to history. But yeah, I just think we're in a really amazing, we sort of are in a golden age for culture. Like, as much, that sounds insane given like how badly music industries, film industries, all kinds of pop culture industries are doing. But in terms of like, if you're a fan and wanting to immerse yourself in some kind of, any kind of pop culture, like, yeah, we haven't ever had it as good as we have it right now.
Yeah, like imagine telling you and I 20 years ago that there is essentially a national park in Japan devoted to Studio Ghibli in Nagoya. Like, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, or that there was a Star Wars land at Disney. You know what I mean? Like these things, and it maybe it is because we're in this eternal state of Arrested Development now where we're not allowed to age because fandom is so accessible and we're kind of kept at a certain age. I don't know. It's really interesting to think about.
Yeah. I feel like we've gotten into the DM part before we...
No, I loved it. This is what this show is very, it is the guest will dictate the vibe, and I'm so not disappointed.
Did you hear the one with the author? They just started getting real heady with it.
Well, look, why don't we steer things back? I would love to know, Al, what was the last thing you watched, movie, that is?
Now, I was trying to game this because I know this is the last question, and so, yeah, even today I was trying to like game it to see. I still haven't seen Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, which is criminal. I want to see it in a theater with people. But to answer the question, last film I saw was Marty Supreme.
Oh, okay. Yeah. At a cinema?
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Where did you see it?
Just at the local.
Cool.
The local Pentridge has got their $10 situation going on. $10, $12 Monday, Tuesdays.
Look, we are in a golden age of culture.
Yeah.
A $10 movie ticket in this day and age?
Yeah,
that's incredible. What'd you think?
I loved it. Yeah, I was kind of nervous going in because, we're out of it now, but like the Oscar season, buzz, and Chalamet Gate, Opera Gate, Ballet Gate. It
Thank God Chapel hates children. Really took...
We've moved on, haven't we?
I think she did that for Timmy.
Yeah, right.
I think, who's more precious than opera and ballet? Kids. Yeah, I'm going to hate them on a global scale. And she made the cardinal mistake of getting Brazil offside.
That's it.
Which is like, if you get Brazil offside, you're fucked.
In soccer or pop culture.
In anything.
You got to look out.
Yeah.
Marty was great. Like, yeah, I mean, I really loved Safdie films before, like Good Times, Banger. Uncut Gems was kind of one of the films that started the re-entry into getting physical media again, getting 4K movies again.
Really? For you personally?
Yeah.
Wow, because they...
Because you couldn't get it here.
Well, it was Netflix here. I believe globally it was Netflix just outside of North America.
Yeah, so there was no physical release. Anyway, that's another story. But
Criterion did a great addition.
Yes, which I've got. It's delightful, and you've got the glowed up Furby as the inside. It's fantastic. But yeah, Marty was terrific. I really enjoyed it. I mean, Chalamet's incredible. Was really surprised by Gwyneth. Odessa, your mate, was incredible. Tyler was great.
What a great, late career... Well, not late. I hope she keeps going for a long time. But Gwyneth role, almost one that was quite meta too, about a actress getting back into it.
Yeah, it was great, and that's very conscious. Josh Safdie's spoken about all that element of it, and also I think that new Oscar, the Best Casting Oscar, like One Battle was like, if it's going to go to anyone that wasn't Marty, I'm glad it went to One Battle, but like. I remember sitting with Anna, my partner, and watching Marty and being like, every single face and line read of person would go like, where did they get this person? They're perfect. Like
the faces of men in particular in this film. And it also rings true. I did a rewatch of Uncut Gems recently. Just incredible casting. They used the same casting director. She's actually written, she's published I can't remember her name right now, but she's published a coffee table book by A24, which is called something like, Can I Take Your Photo? Or Have you ever been interested in acting? It's her. She does.
How many lines are on your face?
She's like a street caster.
Yeah,
so
right.
she will just go up to people in the street.
Yeah,
and
that makes so much sense.
It shows, right? Yeah.
It reminds me too of Sergio Leone. Like,
really? How so?
Well, like all the spaghetti westerns, you get these like incredibly craggy faced dudes, and you're like, it's that fine thing of like, it's not realistic because you can tell they're old Italian guys. They're not cowboys, but it adds to the world building of that film. And I think it's the same with the Safdies, where it's like, yes, it's like they're pulling people from the streets of New York, but it's almost like you get all of the funky fruit back to back. You get the
extreme versions.
Yeah, or you know, and it's like that quote about movies or drama is life with the boring bits cut out. It's like these are all the people on the street with all the boring people on the street cut out.
That's such a great metaphor around it. Yeah. No, it is true because everyone on that show looks like a close up on Ren and Stimpy sometimes. You know what I mean? It's just like these craggly lines or certain.
It's just so fascinating, and that's not to like. It's not a thing of dunking on like whoa. It's more like they're just so compelling. Like their faces are telling a story before they've even like said anything. It's so cool,
and it's so easy to cast conventional looking people.
Yeah.
I imagine the process is a lot easier too. So the fact, like, actually, when I did speak to Odessa Zion, she auditioned for Euphoria season 1, who shares the same casting director.
Right. Okay.
And the casting director, this is what she told me. She was like, the casting director was like, "You're not quite right for this." So when Marty came around, she was like, "I know exactly who should." Yeah. And it's just I think like I'm so glad that job is being recognized now. Like out of all of the
that's true.
I just thought that was such a cool, because like as you just said, like in a year where one battle after another, like, and Sinners, like all these great movies with incredible casting, it's such a cool thing to see. How do you feel about next year's new award, the Stunt Award?
I'm learning about this now.
Yeah,
today I learned.
It's been in the works for a while. Next year it will be debuting, and it just feels to me
overdue.
Well, it feels wrong that Mission Impossible
doing it after Tom
Final Reckoning came out.
He's going to come back.
He has to, right?
He's going to come back. He's going to be like, they're what?
Yeah. I mean, it should also almost be called the Tom Cruise Academy Award of almost
jumping
killing yourself in the love of the game. For the love of the game. Yeah.
Trains, planes, and Tom Cruise games.
Honestly, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know who will get it. I don't know. So you saw Marty, you loved it. Speaking of physical, my 4K came today.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I swear I got another recent one. It's not here. It's at someone else's house.
It's in the vault.
We split shipping. Come on. But I tell you what, it cost a little bit more than $10.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait to. Yeah, I love that film. It's no secret. I saw it a bunch of times. I saw it in IMAX even.
Oh, cool.
They showed it for a weekend, which I was like, that's so cool. And it was a sold out session. And it was about 3 weeks after it had been out as well. It was just so cool. And it was so cool to see a movie of I guess that scale and budget be elevated to a certain pedigree that, you know, like Uncut Gems was on Netflix here. Like that's not lost on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. It's a huge bump up. But yeah, great film. I mean, we haven't even talked about the soundtrack. Soundtrack's incredible. Daniel Lopatin, like
if we're talking Oscar-gate, and the worst thing, like, how
snubbed
did that not get nominated, let alone win, which I do think it is the best score from last year.
I think it's that thing of like, there's a lot of really iconic needle drops in it, right? Like all those 80s songs in there. And so maybe there's an element of like, oh, the score is taking a backseat to that, but it's actually not. It's actually incredible how well the score threads and is actually doing everything a great score should and enhancing scenes and stuff. And also just like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's like Timmy now. I feel like Lopatin and him are both going to come back roaring at some point and be like, oh, you think that wasn't good? Like, let me show you what good is.
I do love all of Lopatin's work with Safdie's, like Good Time Onwards, just incredible scores. But Marty just hit this new level. I maybe the period setting helped inform that. Have you heard about how he did the score? Like him and Josh Safdie were essentially in a WeWork office.
A what?
You know,
right.
Like a shared office space environment.
I pictured Wii Sports for some reason, just because of the table tennis. I don't know.
No, I wish. I tell you what, after I saw this movie, though, I was longing for a ping pong video game.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
do you remember there was a Rockstar one?
Yeah. I was going to say, I can remember playing one on 360.
Rockstar made one, but I don't think it was outside of 360, right?
Don't think so.
Would you watch Marty again?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I was umming and ahhing about just straight up blind buying the 4K.
Oh, before you saw it?
Before I'd seen it. Because I was like, I trust it's going to be good. And now I'm like, oh, I should have just done that. But also, you know, I'm glad I saw it. I'm probably still going to get it. Just for the audio commentary, if nothing else.
So sick.
Great film.
Before we recorded, we were going through this great book I have called For Promotional Use Only, which is a book that's near and dear to me. It's essentially from another bowerbird human being who collects knickknacks of cinema past. I mean, right now we're recording in a room of which there is a Japanese VHS copy of Eyes Wide Shut. I do love to physically collect things, but Marty Supreme, in terms of the swag, in terms of the promotional gear, wow.
Yeah, he set a new ball game, pun intended. But and that too, like that's also, I know the Oscar has nothing to do with that, but and acting awards in general, but it's like, yeah, Timmy like flogged it, and he was really doing compelling stuff. And I know there's been a lot of discourse of like maybe he did too much, and then obviously the ballet opera thing and blah blah blah. But it's like, that's really cool. That's a movie star getting out there and doing the goddamn work and doing it in a fun, creative way. And like, whether it's merch and the whole like SD Kid kind of like confusion as well, and
the Zoom video with the color art.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it's like, that's cool. That's like that. If you want to get people back in cinemas, like that's the kind of work I think that has to happen, and not just like. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a rut of just like...
maybe the establishment felt a little rocked by it, because you know what I mean? Like,
maybe. And I don't know, maybe short memory, maybe people will forget, but it's like, it did feel like, even if you didn't see Marty Supreme, it was in the air a bit, I think.
I completely agree.
I have a big music parallel where it's like, I'm not one of those people that can recall like, yes, the 1997 Oscars or the 2000 Grammys, and like obviously big cultural moments or whatever are kind of embedded in there, but like I'm not like a stats guy with those kind of awards things. It's like, of course they matter to some degree, but it's also like, yeah, I think over a long enough scale, you're going to the art rather than the award for the art, because there's so much stuff that doesn't get recognized that's unreal.
Sure, and I think when people look back, they'll be like, "Oh, you mean Timothée Chalamet was in 5 years he was in Dune. Sorry, he was in Dune Part 2. Followed that up with playing Bob Dylan, and then followed that up with Marty Supreme, and then followed that up with Dune Part 3. You know what I mean? Like,
you've been doing the chant. You've been doing the chant around the house from the Dune 3 trailer.
I'm checking streaming every day. Why the hell is I'm not sure, the Muad'Dib chant, the Muad'Dib jihad chant, brackets, Lisa Nalgaib remix, close brackets. Why is that not on streaming?
Yeah, it's dope.
It's Timmy as well.
Yeah, I read that. I was kind of like,
you can hear his voice like breaking in it. Yeah. It's awesome. It better be in the movie. It better not be a case of trailer only.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. They wouldn't. I feel like they're not going to pull that stunt for that one.
They have
to. Or if it wasn't in the film, it's going to be now.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And look, going back to what you said too, ultimately, however you felt about the run, however you felt that, it elevated, an indie, air quote, smallish budget movie to like higher status and had like young people going to the movies to watch it.
Yeah, and it made didn't it completely smash like box office?
Civil War, I think, was A24's last highest grossing.
Right.
And yeah, this is now the high,
over 100 mil.
And that's huge.
North America, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's massive for a movie about a ping pong hustler.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, that's the ultimate win, that people cared about going to the movies to watch a movie like that, not like a popcorn blockbuster.
And it was also just a really nice cap on, it's been said to death now, but it really was it was a great year for movies.
Yeah, it felt like the oft repeated phrase, "We're so back." Like I said that weekly last year. What a run!
Yeah, incredible. And again, just the Oscar nominees. So obviously, One Battle is like constantly jostling for number one film for me with like no other choice.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of retract my earlier statement about Best Original Score being the biggest Oscars upset. The fact that No Other Choice got zilch again speaks volumes of how important Oscars are, because at Masterpiece,
good.
Yeah, one of my favorite filmmakers, and just one of the funniest, one of the like best movies I've seen in years. To that not get a look in, I mean, that kind of
crazy.
Yeah, but what a great movie. Yeah, no,
so good. I mean, I was nearly gonna wear my Old Boy
long
sleeve, but it's too damn hot. But yeah, I love Park Chan-wook. I think every movie he's done is an absolute banger in one degree or another. But it's what's so cool now is seeing him, he's sort of entering this like elder statesman era where his films, he knows tonally when to use certain stuff.
Like humor, he deploys humor really well in No Other Choice.
Yeah, drama. Obviously, because he's known as like, you know, he came up in that like the extreme era of like
90s.
Tartan DVD, Audie's like Old Boy and in Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and stuff. And I love those films, but they're very much driven by like this kind of stylish machismo and like violence and
They're
stuff.
movies you'd hear Quentin Tarantino talk about in interviews.
Yeah.
And then seek them out and be like, oh, and then you're like, oh, okay, I can see where Kill Bill's DNA is.
Totally.
Or, yeah. Which is not a bad thing. Like, which is great. Like, yeah.
But No Other Choice. And then I'm completely blanking the film beforehand.
Decision to Leave.
Decision to Leave.
Which I was about to ask you, what's your favorite Wook film? If you could pick one.
I think it's probably canonically it's Old Boy because that was my first. That's the kind of movie where I was like, I was not the same person that walked out that went in. I was just like, what the hell did I just watch?
Can you remember where you were when you watched it the first time?
Hell yeah. Yeah, it was the Cinema Nova in Melbourne. Like,
oh, you saw it?
Cinema 3.
In a cinema for the first time. Oh.
Yeah. I saw it with my old girlfriend at the time and remember just coming out and being like, did that just kind of happen? Like, did you see what I see? And she enjoyed it, but I was a bit like, I have a new obsession.
That's so sick. I love that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of, and yeah, there's more of a slow burn now. Like with No Other Choice, it's that sort of thing like expectation, like walking in like, this is going to be a masterpiece. And I've thoroughly, like now I think it's a masterpiece because I've sat and thought about it a bit more.
Yeah.
But it's not trying to grab your attention as much, I don't think. Like,
no, I know what you mean.
He's really settled as like he's still got so much style and technical skill.
It's controlled.
It's controlled. But yeah, even that opening sequence with the barbecue, the family barbecue, it's like even that is like, there's going to be a reason for this by the end of the film. And it's pacing and all of that story. Yeah, he is someone I feel it's like he's just a master of his craft. And we're really lucky that he's like still pumping out films because he's doing it at a clip at the moment.
100%. Decision to Leave, I think, is my favorite, and that's the second to last one. That film just spoke to me in a way that I haven't been spoken to. But films don't talk to me. I'm not that crazy, but it just hit me, and it's one I really regret not seeing in cinemas. And I think that might have had to do with lockdowns or even availability here or something like that. But again, I've said this before: the only filmmaker who should be allowed to show people using their phones.
Yeah.
Because it is I find it such a like ugly, detracting moment in film sometimes, unless it's a period piece, like in Uncut Gems when he's texting. I do love seeing the authenticity of the iPhone he's using and the version of iOS. Yeah. Because it's like, it does help tell that story to timestamp it for 2010 or 2011. But the way Park Chan-wook frames or uses texting or phone calls as a device and how he shows that, it's just so inventive.
It's so cool. And it's also, it doesn't disrupt, there's that classic thing of like some filmmakers, I think even like P.T. Anderson, they're like, don't want it set at modern day because the phone ruins everything. You get people being like, why don't they just get on their phone? Why don't they call?
Seinfeld.
Blah, blah, blah.
Everyone's like, Seinfeld would have been easier if everyone could text one another. Yeah.
And he manages to not only write in a way that like incorporates it without ruining the plot, because he's treating it in a very rational way, but then shooting it in such a masterful, technical, compelling way.
The ending for No Other Choice as well. Just that stock footage I've learnt later. Incredible, but also like quite great commentary.
Yeah, and that's like, the thing that it felt like for me, that whole last scene was like, oh, by the way, this whole thing, cultural commentary.
Yeah, like it's not lazy.
Surprise.
It's not just, we couldn't go out in the forest and shit. It's just like, it is like the final full, like it's just such a great closing moment. Yeah, I saw that in a packed cinema and was, unfortunately, that was the first Park Chan-wook I've seen in a cinema.
Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah, I saw all his stuff on DVD or streaming, just given like availability and stuff. And what a goddamn experience. Al, I take it you've probably watched Old Boy the most out of his oeuvre.
Yeah.
But is there a film that you've watched more than any other film?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't counted, but it would definitely be like Akira.
Really?
One of the Star Wars, I reckon.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you saw Akira?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing with Akira was it was like, I vividly remember it being like an object of desire because like going to the video store as a kid, like, or not quite even as a kid, like more as like a, I don't know, in my like 10, 11 or something.
The tweens.
The tweens. Thank you. And seeing the VHS and it's, as I learned to know and love, Kaneda on the front, you know, that iconic thing, and you know, Tokyo's about to explode.
Oh.
Akira.
So the one where he's like facing...
Standing like legs akimbo.
Holding the gun, the laser gun.
He's got the laser.
Yeah.
And so 10 or 11, I'm like, what is that? And there's a massive MA15 on it. And so it's like my parents are like, no, I don't care. Like they got it. They knew it wasn't a cartoon.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, not watching this. So for years, I remember being like, when I'm 15, I'm going to rent that film and watch it. And again, young enough where it was not something I could just like, I remember maybe seeing like snippets of it in like a manga, as in the video production company manga trailer or something.
I remember the manga sticker on it, the like classic, the way with that they have that. And look, this is a poor taste word now, but it is very suitable of the time, that Oriental font.
yeah, that's
which certainly was no one, I'm sure.
The Magi Noodle font.
Yeah, no one involved with the creation of that sticker was
giving it the okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, but to stop sort of romanticizing about it, when I finally did get to see it, it blew my mind. It was just like, what is going on? And I think another thing you share has very much just become a core part of my personality. Like, I love that film. I think it's like an artistic achievement. Like it works as just letting it rock your brain of like, what is going on? And just as a 15-year-old, it was like, definitely the gateway to like, oh, there's Japanese animation, and that's a whole
mature animation.
Yeah, there's adult animation. There's other ways of storytelling. There's like adaptations, like the learning it was based on a manga strip and a comic series. Later,
that was still being published years after the film came out.
Yeah,
which is incredible. Such a Otomo is amazing auteur who started the manga, made the movie, was the director. I don't think it directed a feature at that point, and then finished the manga once that... You know, it's insane to think of, like this creator-owned piece of IP, which, knock on wood, even if you're listening, knock on wood, will never, ever succumb to the One Piece live-action experience, which it sounds like it's cursed. Like, it sounds like a Confederacy of Dunces and one of those other unadaptable texts.
Yeah.
I just pray, hope.
Yeah, one of those films just, it doesn't need a remake. But to answer your question, I've easily watched that film like, maybe not 100, but definitely like more than 20, 25 or something.
What do you love about it the most?
I don't know, the whole vibe of it. Like when I had seen that, I hadn't seen Blade Runner or Alien or, you know, these other kind of like uber cyberpunk sci-fi texts. Hadn't seen Ghost in the Shell. It was essentially my first anime. Like I'd probably watch stuff like Dragon Ball.
It's like starting drugs on heroin, isn't it? It's like,
this stuff's all right.
Yeah, you're like, you got any more?
Yeah. So I mean, again, the soundtrack's incredible, and it's not even like the story or the narrative, because it is, in some ways, is the weakest part in terms of like, if you're looking for a well-structured, like classic Hollywood style, like character development and blah, blah, blah. It's not that, but what it's sacrificing that stuff so it can do everything else so well. Like,
and I guess if you want that structure, the manga's out there, which is, you learn when you read it, the film is an epic. Like a third of the manga.
Yeah.
You're really getting a third of it. And I kind of do love that you end up with these parallel versions of the same piece of work, but really, really understood the assignment of writing and creating for their medium. Yeah. Like, I don't want to see the manga as a film. Like, that's a manga. Like, that story is so long and so set over like quite a long time comparatively. And this film is set, I don't know, maybe over a few days. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't matter. You know, it's about the vibe. It's about the look. It's about, And the animation, like I always loved animation as a kid. And I think that thing that everyone has with movies, like the magic of movies, like the idea that you kind of, like an illusion, you know, like this isn't real, or they had to do something to make this. Like the animation element for me, that's kind of even more mind-blowing. This idea that's like, well, you can't go out and put a camera in front of a guy with a
with a big red bike. Like you had to design that and conceptualize it, and it still has to be convincing and can also be like fantastical. And yeah, it's still held as a benchmark, I think, like all these decades later, because it's like the hand-painted cell animation, the light blur,
the lighting. There's something
effects,
with the lighting,
like,
right, where it kind of innovated a new way of lighting animation, I believe. Obviously, obviously the brake light trail is a thing, but I think there's something. I know this is horrible research, I know, but I know it did something to like really innovate in that space.
Yeah, absolutely, and just it's that whole vibe, this idea of like it creates a world and an atmosphere and a mood that you can totally immerse yourself in for the existence of that runtime, and that was done by people with pens in their hands. I love that.
And I'm sure they were not overworked and kept really good hours. And I'm sure they saw their family really regularly. I do miss that feeling of stepping into a video store and, you know, they're almost, I'm just imagining it now, and all the covers are facing towards you and they're vying for your attention. And I love that one called out to you. Were video store trips with the family a common occurrence for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Just as a demarcation of time, I lived in England for a bit when I was a kid. So like from 4 to 8 years old or something. But like my only memory of pre-England, like fairly fuzzy still, but like vivid enough memory, is we would go to a different video store, but a local video store, my sister and I as kids, and we would pick out a VHS tape, and then there's like a chicken shop just 2 doors down that would do like a bag of wings. And so we must have done that weekly, because it's really embedded in my brain of like, you'd get the old really crunchy plastic VHS covers of like Fantasia. The clamshell, that's it.
It's like bent there, where it opens, it's just like folded in on each other. There's bits chipping. You could cut yourself on them.
Yeah.
When there was some loose plastic.
That's it.
That's the one. So where was that, where you grew up?
In Canterbury, in Melbourne. It's like the eastern suburbs.
Is there a film,
pretty bouge,
when you were telling us then the Wings, the movies, is there a movie that sticks out in particular as the one that reminds you of home or Canterbury?
All my memories pre-England are really fuzzy, so it's more what I've been told, so it doesn't feel as accurate.
So what about England then?
But, there's two. There's the one from when I was a kid at home in Australia before England would be Dot and the Kangaroo.
Oh, wow.
The Yoram Gross.
The Yoram Gross, yeah. And that's the animation on
top of like live footage of the bush.
Yeah.
And it still rules. I still love it. You know, you have that thing, you go back to childhood movies and you're like, it doesn't hold up.
I call it the Mask effect. I remember loving The Mask.
Yeah, right.
Starring Jim Carrey, and I still do. But then as an uber critical 15-year-old, I was like, I love that movie when I was 8. I'm going to watch it again because it's now on DVD. And it just didn't hit. And I think I was in the wrong state of mind. I'm sure if I watched it now, I would think it's better than 90% of... well, there's no such thing as big budget comedies anymore, starring rubber-faced men.
Yeah.
But no, I do refer to that in my own personal term as the Mask effect. And I'm so glad to know that Dot and the kangaroo or are neither victim to the Mask effect.
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of recognize that it's like, it is just a kid's film, but like... again,
some of the best movies are.
Yeah, I got very obsessed with that. In fact, I wrote like an essay on it when I was in uni at one point. Yeah,
really? What was your essay about?
I can't remember the exact title, but it was sort of talking about depictions of the Australian landscape, and this. I had this whole theory around like the threat of the bush, and that the film like makes that known because all of the landscape is actual bush, and Dot gets lost in the bush and she's rescued by animals, and there's some very questionable like indigenous representation in there as like the bad guy. As
sensitive as the manga font on the Akira
VHS? Probably in
from
similar insensitive areas.
Same school of multiculturalism in the workplace textbook.
But it was really emotional. Like, my mum always tells me I used to wander around the house going, Dot, Dot, because she gets lost in the bush and there's scenes of her parents like calling out. So it was like me mimicking that.
The 80s was a big decade for spreading the rumor that children just got lost in Australia always, wasn't it?
Yeah. Walkabout.
Yeah, Walkabout. Dingo ate my baby. Yeah. Like it was, God, I didn't know Yoram Gross was really fueling those flames.
Yeah.
That was 80s, wasn't it? Or
it's like 87, I think, off the top of my head.
He passed away recently, right?
Yeah, very sadly. And like, again, I think a really important Australian filmmaker.
He made one of the Blinky Bill adaptations.
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
right?
He kicked off the TV series.
Yeah.
And another
like
one,
our generation's Blinky Bill, yours and mine, because there was the cursed
that's a
puppets
new
in
one.
the 80s, and then there's I believe like a CG one now, but that one, and I think the film was also true to Dot and the Kangaroo in that it used live photograph backgrounds and was animated on top.
And that was his thing. He was doing that for a while. Another one in that style is called Epic.
I don't know Epic.
It's got Noni from Play School.
Hey.
At the start, she like wanders out of the desert as like a mystic kind of thing, and she's like,
as a human?
Let me tell, as a human, and it's like, let me tell you this story, and then it's like this wild mix of like Euro Norse mythology and Australian like Dreamtime mythology, and there's like a lava monster, and it's like these two elf kids. It's a little bit Dark Crystal.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It's a real deep cut because I've failed to find any kind of version of it.
Oh my
it's
God,
not just
I've
a
never
bad
heard of
YouTube
this.
version. But
that sounds so great.
It was really cool. And
is
like
the Nordic from something to do with his background?
I think he's Dutch.
Okay,
maybe.
So maybe there's some crossover there
But
with wanting to meld the two
maybe
cultural stories or beliefs.
It's really cool. It's very original, and there's things like there's a cyclops and this lava monster, and then there's like a sort of like flying. Anyway, it's definitely something you just need to Google image search to see what I mean. But that was really cool. I watched that a ton as a kid as well, and I think that was probably post England rather than pre. But
oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, those are two that really stick out. Shout out Yoram Gross.
I'd love a Yoram Gross reevaluation.
Yeah, he deserves one.
Yeah, I'd love to see those in a big. You know what? You've really tickled that part of my brain for future screenings.
There you go. I'll be there.
Yeah, I know you. Hey, maybe you can intro it for me. You write about music mainly for your day job. You have just written a book about music for your life, I guess. Not also day job. You are such a fan. I share this similarity of you of different mediums. You know, some people are just music people, some people are movie people, some people are book people, but you are this ambidextrous sponge of so many great things. And I think that's another reason why we bonded immediately, because we were pulling references, jumping through, mediums like we're in the goddamn Gumby or something. But do you remember if you were in love with movies first or music? Like, what was the first medium that you gravitated towards in these days,
man.
back in Canterbury? Or
Yeah, that's a really good question. It probably was animation and movies and stuff, because I didn't really get into video games until I could play them, right?
There is a skill level that, I guess, especially with games when we grew up, which were like controller and coordination, where now I know, there's a lot of just like tablets and
Tapping
iPads
away.
where it's just you tap.
So that kind of rules that out, unfortunately. Definitely can remember loving music as a kid, but I don't think, again, I got obsessed until maybe a bit later. So you've unlocked something. Yeah, it probably was animation, because I was like a Disney kid as well. So probably animation and movies probably was the first thing, and having a Mickey soft toy and wanting a Dot and the Kangaroo soft toy and none existing, and
calling Yoram Gross.
Yeah, but they had picture books. I
remember the picture books from the school library, and it would be the stills, much like the way I experienced End of Evangelion. I am certain the first time I experienced Dot and the Kangaroo was, I can see the picture book now. Yeah. You said Disney movies. I'm of the belief that people of our generation, you kind of based on, now your kid. Congratulations, you're a father, but
thank you.
Your kid is again kind of tapping into what we're talking about earlier. He can dial up. Oh God, that does make me sound old. He can pull up any Disney movie he wants because of streaming.
Yeah,
and we're of the era of the famous Disney Vault, where it was a treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen approach from the House of Mouse, where supply was pretty short for a film. A film would have they would release a film on VHS, and it would be in circulation that one time, and then it would disappear. And so I think that people
artificial scarcity, folks.
Artificial scarcity, yeah.
Disney to thank for that.
The famous vault. And I think that we're of the generation where, depending on, it doesn't even matter about your cultural background or how much money your parents made or that, but we all would have people who had movies or videos. You would only by perchance have certain Disney movies in the house based on who bought them and when.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It
Yep.
wasn't as this like everybody had the same library, which I think was very interesting. What was the Disney movie in your collection? Do you remember?
Well, this is funny. We didn't have one. We would rent them a lot.
Oh wow!
And I saw lots of them. I think maybe we had Alice in Wonderland.
Okay, so that was one that
But
you
I
would
could be
probably watch
confusing
more?
that with Anna, because I know Anna grew up. That was her Disney movie growing up.
Okay.
But yeah, we didn't have one as much as I remember. Like, yeah, the Dot and the Kangaroo stuff, and probably because of the Disney Vault, like the Disney movies that I love that are like these are mine from my growing up is like Aladdin, The Lion King.
Yeah, exactly the
And
same
so
as
when-
mine.
yeah.
It's like,
So when they came to Blu-ray and Blu-ray was still like
Yeah.
the bee's knees, it worked because I was like,
and there was still
I'm
a
gonna
vault
get
then,
it.
wasn't there?
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it didn't really have one as much growing up, and like, yeah, I actually was trying to pick my dad's brain about that because I can remember his videos that he had. See,
Okay. So your dad was a physical collector.
I don't know about a collector.
Oh,
He had a weird sort of set of stuff. Like he had 3 colors blue. He had the Howard Stern biopic. The shock jock.
Naked. What's
Naked
it
in
called?
Manhattan, maybe.
That's the poster. There's a giant.
Sorry, that's not the name of the film.
No. It's called like Naked Part, Nude Part.
Naked part. Anyway,
I got to find this out right now.
And so
And he plays himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. So I can remember Dad's videos, but I don't really remember again.
What an
apart from
eclectic
Dot and
collection.
Epic. Yeah, he had a shout out P-Funk. He had some weird tastes.
Okay, that film, the Howard Stern shock jock, is called Private Parts.
Private Parts.
And
okay.
you're right, he's covering up his private parts with the Chrysler Building.
There you go, classic.
And it's, for those who don't know what the Chrysler Building looks like, it looks like a penis. So there you go. I think something that, that wasn't a loaded question, but I do realize that Disney is kind of the perfect answer because so many of those films have music throughout them. And I do think there's something really interesting when you get into, and we spoke about it with Marty before, with this soundtrack versus score. Are you a soundtrack or a score guy?
Both.
Yeah.
They both do different things very well, and the best films will have both.
I think so? You think that like something like Marty, for example?
Yeah.
And One Battle as well?
Yeah, One Battle. I mean, if you can do both, it's really well. It's a massive flex. And I can think probably off the top of my head of more iconic one of the other. Like,
That's what I can think of.
Trainspotting soundtrack.
Do you think there is a perfect needle drop? Do you think there's one that's kind of just elevated head and shoulders above anything else?
I think Trainspotting has the most. And this is probably because I just did a big thing on
That's right. For the 30th anniversary.
The 30th anniversary. And I love that film.
Yeah.
It's one of those films that, again, I've gone back to and been like, nah, this is still a 10 out of 10. But yeah, man, that film has got so many needle drops.
I mean, from the opening.
It's crazy.
Before the visuals start,
Yeah.
you essentially have the greatest Iggy Pop song before the next greatest Iggy Pop song is in the same movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's insane.
You've got Lou Reed in there. You've got the Brian Eno Worst Toilet in the World.
Yep.
You've obviously got Underworld.
You got
Left Field. Like
its batting average is insane.
it's crazy. So that's definitely the most iconic. If there's a better one, I'm like trying to think. Top of Dome.
Well, what's your favorite?
I should have studied.
Well, I just threw this one out. Do you have a favorite one from Trainspotting? The one that you just think?
It used to be Lust for Life.
Yeah.
Like as a teen when that film came out, and being like,
yeah,
here we go, because you get into the film.
And that amazing montage at the start with the running.
What
and
a start.
And the
What a start
monologue.
to a film.
And
that montage like kind of invented a whole genre of cinema for a while.
I don't think Edgar Wright would exist.
Yeah.
If that didn't.
Guy Ritchie. All of those knockoff ones like Human Traffic.
We always talk about the Tarantino knockoffs, but we don't talk enough about the Danny Boyle knockoffs. I think. You know what I mean? And I think that's that's flattery that he did invent that language.
Yeah.
Man, I think The Beach is such a severely underrated and kind of fairly maligned in parts, but I do think it is such an underrated, strange film.
Yeah, I really enjoy. I think his discography.
Hey,
Damn,
I think we know the answer now.
his filmography is great. You're a blank check listener, right?
Yeah.
Them going through Danny Boyle was so
Incredible.
good.
Yeah.
I ended up like getting Sunshine on Blu-ray because I was like, yeah, that film rocks, and I've literally
Sunshine
seen
rocks.
it once.
What a cast as well.
Yeah, crazy.
Speaking of like casting awards, I mean, I don't think it would have got a look in because it was during that weird era where, those films weren't getting
It's
that
like
type of
it's like a
attention.
festival that books all the acts just before they blow up.
Yeah. You got Captain America.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You got Oppenheimer.
Michelle Yeoh's in there.
All the stars are here.
Yeah, it's wild.
Think about your book. Have Tame Impala ever had a needle drop?
I don't think so.
But they have written... Kevin has written original music for a film, correct?
Yes. He did the song for the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which, hot take, I didn't think it's all that.
I know. Aggressive 6.
Yeah, I feel like...
I think it's fun. And I think Aggressive 6 is fun.
Yeah.
What didn't you like about it?
It's not that I didn't like it. It was just, I felt like some people... And I don't want to go at D&D heads because I feel like we're of a fellow...
Yeah, we're birds of a feather.
Yeah, it's like you guys want your great D&D adaptation just like I want a good video game adaptation. But I don't know, I just felt like it was a little bit overrated and a bit goofy, and like I still, for me, I'm more of the school of like Lord of the Rings is the benchmark, and that's the way to do fantasy, even if it's probably a bit too serious for some people's tastes. And
I don't know, man, those hobbits are funny looking.
Yeah.
Those trees are
walking. Your own comedy.
Yeah.
Ian McKellen be smoking.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know. I don't want to sit here and dunk on it, but similarly, that's not Tame Impala's best work.
Could you see Kevin Parker, I guess, doing the 1-0 tricks thing and scoring a film? Do you see that something that he would be like, as
That'd
someone
be
who's
sick.
spent a lot of time in his world and I guess in his mental space, writing a book about an album of his? Do you see him ever kind of doing that? Like, there's some great... I just looked around my room and I saw the Tom York Suspiria. You know what I mean? Like, do you see him doing something like that?
I think as a fan, that would be sick, and I think he's fully equipped to it. I have a strange hunch that he wouldn't want to do something conventional. I don't know what I'm basing that on, but just the idea of like, it would have to be a very particular project or a director that would make him be like, okay, this is the one to do. I don't think it would be like a Hollywood, like if some Marvel person approached it. Because even the idea of him doing Dungeons and Dragons and Minions, like he's sort of...
that's right. I forgot the Minions.
Turn Off the Sunshine. Like, that's him being like, I just wanted to double and have fun and just sort of, why not do something like that?
And I guess in a way, him doing it on those platforms doesn't sully like a record.
Yeah.
Like a Tame Impala record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I can see what that's like, but at least it's not going to be showing up in the that's interesting.
So it might be, I can imagine him more or less doing a score and doing more like, the Jack Antonoff route of like curating a soundtrack. Like Mark Ronson's done it, hasn't he, for a film?
Yeah, Ronson's done it. Quite a few people do it. I mean, even Kendrick Lamar did it for the Black Panther soundtrack.
Oh, and actually, sorry, now you mention it, like, I don't know if it's a needle drop, but there's that wild, there's Backwards, which was in Divergent, I think it was called.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like Kendrick Lamar rapping over Feels Like We Only Go Backwards, but I don't know if that's in the film because I haven't seen it.
No.
But it's definitely on the soundtrack.
God, that's so funny. I just had an idea. Imagine an esteemed venue like the Sydney Opera House. Dot and the Kangaroo.
I've heard of it.
Dot and Kangaroo.
Oh my God, live score is this
Live
week,
score by Kevin Parker.
Woo! I mean, 5-year-old me and 40-year-old me would be very satisfied.
It's kind of what this podcast is about.
About making dreams.
It's kind of about this full circle moment. A Tame Impala movie, a biopic. Do you think something like that? If Kevin was like, Al, you're the only one that gets me. I've read your work. I know who you are. I avoid you in the street. But no, I know. I entrust you and only you to write the script for a Tame Impala biopic. Is that something you would ever do?
No. I think I'd have to be like, you got to go the doco route, I reckon. I'm very much a music docos over music biopics.
Okay.
I want get back of every band. I want the get back format.
You don't want the Sam Mendes 4-film experience.
No, I really don't.
Wow. Okay.
So I mean,
do you have any gold standards of music docos that back you up? Because I'm with you.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'd love to know what some of your gold standards are.
Oh man, there's heaps. I mean, ones recent I can think of, like the Sparks Brothers doco, Edgar Wright's. That was awesome. That was incredible, and like doing a fun thing of like threading that fine line of being a celebration for the people who know love and know their work, and also being an amazing introduction for people who have no idea where they are. And a great doco thrives on a great subject, and that was like a hilarious comedy, because it's like you've got then they released this album with this crazy title and they just play through that with the editing. And similarly, the Butthole Surfers doco that came out last year.
Yeah, that was at some festivals, right?
Yeah. I saw it through MIF. That was
shout out to Kate Jinx.
Yeah. Hey, Kate. That was unreal. And I think even in my review, I was like, this is of that probably the most entertaining music doc I've seen since Sparks.
I haven't seen I haven't actually seen either of them, but I do know about the Sparks one. What made the Butthole Surfers one stand out? Like what
Again, subject, like just an incredible story. Like they're these Texan underground rock band that ended up having a #1 hit at some point.
No One Love a Dime, they'll do it.
Fascinating characters. Pepper.
I
don't mind the
summertime. They were all in
sometimes.
love and died. I was doing it in
And yeah, their front man Gibby, like fascinating guy, and it's the relationship between him and the guitarist. The film itself is incredible. Like the director, it's the guy who directed Freaked, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
That's just got an Umbrella re-release. He's got like him and the editor have got this incredible sense of comic timing. Right. So it's really funny. It's mixed media. It's got like puppetry. They do like this sort of tastefully bad CGI recreation of what it would be like to be at a Butthole Surfer show, where there's
really
like
funny.
A naked woman dancing. There's like hectic medical surgery being played in the background, drum cymbals on fire. So it's this kind of like, oh my God, what a wild rock band. But then also there's this emotional heart towards the end of the film, which I won't spoil, where it sort of reveals like, no, these are actually just humans and that we're making art. And this is sometimes, dedicating yourself to that's what it can lead to. So, it was just an incredible doco. And like, you don't have to know anything about Butthole Surfers. In fact, probably enhances the experience.
Do you think the best music documentaries are made for people, an audience that doesn't know the artist? Do you think they're like kind of the best ones?
I think the most entertaining are.
Sure.
Because on the other end of the spectrum, Get Back, like you wouldn't call that entertaining. Like it's, people have joked it's like slow television, but it's also like peels back the curtain so hard.
It's like seeing Michelangelo make David or
Yeah,
something. You're just kind of like, oh, I can't believe I'm watching. Like these are things that I shouldn't be watching. No, I love Get Back as a piece of art. It's incredible.
It feels voyeuristic.
What do you think of the Beatles and the Beatles? What do you think of the Beatles?
What do you think of the Beatles?
What do you think of the Beatles essentially following up their last new product was Get Back? In a sense.
Oh, the Now and Then and the...
Well, no, just the fact that their kind of last visual product was like the Get Back, like their last visual medium.
Right.
Don't know why I keep saying product. And which is a very raw footage guy, like basically never intended for public use, though it was filmed to support the Let It Be film or whatever, the Get Back project.
Yeah.
But never meant to be shown, to this extent, like that long. How do you feel about them and, the estates and etc. The next project being the biopics, which to me feels like night and day. And
we could do a whole podcast on music biopics.
Well, why don't we do 4 when the 4 Beatles ones come out?
It's fascinating because it's like, again, this is something I've written a little bit about, and it's like music biopics have this long history in terms of like, even like one of the first films was a music biopic. It was like in the 1911 or something. I really should have studied
about
this
a
before.
Contemporary musician of the time.
No, like, and it was on Beethoven, I believe, and it was like, they just made shit up. It was not good by standards.
Sounds like nothing's really changed in terms of making up.
Exactly, that was kind of the point of this, the lead in this article, and it was like, it has this long weird history, and they've become a way, since Ray in particular, and even again with Bohemian Rhapsody, of like getting Oscar bait and Bohemian
Rhapsody, the Timmy Dylan film,
which I feel has like steered the course a little bit, but
well, even then it's like a narrative of convenience.
Yeah.
While things did most of those things happen, they obviously didn't happen at that exact time frame.
No, and it's like a new IP thing, right? It's like all of the jokes when those four Beatles movies, when that was announced, it's the whole joke about like, oh, it's the BCU, the MCU of
but
Beatles, and it's like, but it kind of is,
but
because
it is, yeah.
There's so many that are like in production now. There's like Madonna, there's the Michael Jackson one, and I just feel it's like, I don't know, it's not my taste, and I would much prefer a doco. And I think the Beatles ones are really interesting because I think that's going to be the litmus test for what happens next.
Absolutely.
With that, right?
Yeah, I see.
And I think they know that, and I can understand. Like, Sam Mendes is a great
Greg
filmmaker.
Fraser's shooting it. He's pulled off the Batman Part 2 and Dune Part 3 because he's shooting these.
Yeah,
like,
couldn't do Dune 3. He's like, sorry, I'm out.
I'm doing the
Fab
Beatles.
Four.
I mean, that's kind of, the pedigree is big.
Yeah, and the concept's cool, but I just think that if recent biopics have shown us, it's that they're not going to do anything that particularly interesting with I'd love to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
But I just think it's like, it just comes off more as a branding exercise and a marketing thing and
IP management.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, I just don't vibe with it. Even something like watched Better Man recently.
Yeah, yeah.
The Robbie Williams biopic, and I commend that because the whole, oh my God, he's a monkey the entire film, and it's like quite an impressive like musical using Robbie's songs and stuff. But it's also, if you take away the monkey thing, it sort of is just another one of those like Hollywood style.
I haven't seen it,
biopics.
but it's honestly the monkey is what stopped me. Look, I love monkeys, probably more than the average person, but I did see it as this kind of gimmick to get you in for people who are like you, who are like, I kind of know how this is going to end. I know what biopics are like. And so I've kind of, and this is like I'm not proud of it, but I was like, I don't really want to watch that because it feels like I'm being hoodwinked by my love of monkeys to watch a movie that's about Robbie Williams.
I want a monkey movie, not a biopic movie.
Literally, I'm like, I don't care for Robbie Williams. That's fine. Like, he doesn't need me to care for him. And so I just kind of didn't really have an appeal to me. But I have heard it's a very entertaining movie.
It's good. I'm not like dunking on it. It's just... Yeah, I just think we're in a...
Was there a purpose for the monkeys? I guess my roundabout way of saying that.
I mean, they do some really cool, fantastical stuff with it.
Is it because Robbie wanted to portray himself?
Yeah. It's more this element of like, he always saw... He has this really bad imposter syndrome.
Right.
Like self-scrutiny.
Yeah.
Saw himself as an animal.
Sure.
So it's like literalizing all that. And they do some really interesting stuff with that. But the rest of it just feels like it's placating to the formula of... Oh, Bohemian Rhapsody has become the blueprint for biopics.
What about...
It shouldn't, because it was a terrible film.
Well, won an Oscar. Something that Marty Supreme didn't do. Won a few. So who are we to say?
Yeah, who knows?
Have you seen The Moment?
Not yet.
What do you think of this idea of talking about the Aiden Zamiri Charlie XCX film, for those who don't know, but if you're listening to this, you obviously know.
If you made it this past the Ava Deep chat.
If you got past the GeoCities and the Dot and the Kangaroo. What do you think of the idea of these, like an album as an extension, a movie being an extension of an album? I know I don't mean like the film itself, you haven't seen it. I don't want to make you say what you think of the film, but do you think that is a viable path to kind of combat the Four Beatles biopic route?
I just think, different ideas and different approaches to it is cool. Like, I'm Not There is one of the great music biopics,
Because it's the only one that can really live up to Dylan's penchant for telling lies.
Yeah, the myth making of it. And it's kind of a, you buy that going in being like, music picks are kind of inherently a bit ridiculous, so why not have fun with it? So I like ideas like that. I like a great example, Pavements.
You know what? I'm watching it tonight.
Yeah.
I had it rented for about 2 weeks, and I got the alert saying it's running out because I missed it at South by. I cannot wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Have you seen it?
Yes, yeah. So that's another one via Myth. So Alex Ross Perry directed it, and it's basically like you're getting 3 or 4 films in one, because it's like there's a jokey, tongue-in-cheek biopic sections in there stitched together with
And
an actual
when you say
doco.
that, do you mean like it's having its cake and eating it, being like, this is what a Pavement's biopic would be like? Like,
well, it's kind of a parody of
Okay.
what we're talking about. It's
Yeah.
like
and it has Joe Keery and Tim Heidecker, I believe,
Yeah.
as the manager, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Jason Schwartzman's in there.
Schwartzman, amazing.
Griffin Newman from Blank Check,
Hey.
shout out. And then it's also a doco on a like off-Broadway musical about Pavement. It is stitched into there as well. So it's this weird like melange of like different types of music on film. And like for me, I found it kind of hard to get into because I'm not a big Pavement head. I think they're great, but I just never got obsessed with them.
I've seen them live, and I'm not an obsessive, but I
Yeah,
could probably
so
tell
just-
you a few songs. You know what I mean? I'm with you on
Yeah,
that. Like,
I found it hard to access. Like I was kind of watching it feeling like, man, Pavement fans will love this
right.
film.
Did it work for you though as a non-Pavement head?
Yeah, it worked for me in terms of like, oh, this is a path forward. This is how you can cover a band.
It does sound very I'm not there-ish in that sense,
Yeah.
where it's kind of like, here's everything.
Completely
Pick your
different
bits.
films, but in that spirit of like, look, we're never really going to get to an artist's like soul, career, what have you.
Especially while they're still alive. Like, it's
Yeah.
very hard to put a nice tie on the end. You know what I mean? Bow tie on the end of that.
So doing something playful with it like that, I think is a far more interesting like cinema going experience, and actually has something to add. Like I feel like a lot of these biopics, they sort of come and go a bit. Like, I don't know, like I'm trying to picture a person that is like rewatching Ray or rewatching Bohemian Rhapsody.
Nobody.
And I
I
know
think
that
that
sounds
stuff-
really snooty, but it's like, aren't you just watching those biopics to be like, oh yeah, Queen rocks, I'm going to go listen to a greatest hits now.
And I might watch a documentary to get the full picture.
Yeah, which is also why the Beatles one seems so strange, because it's like if
The
there's,
anthology exists.
yeah, if there's any artist that has
The greatest.
enough like archival, like anything you want to know about the Beatles, it's out there.
And it's
So
from the Beatles as well. Like,
Yeah.
the anthology for me is that music documentary that got me into a band, and I was like 9 or 10. And that 8-part series or whatever, that to me was like, it's still like the pinnacle of the beauty of that is too that it has an ending. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so they did it 20 years after they split up, essentially. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
30 years. It's great. Like, you can really tell a neat story that way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think they're going to be bad, but that's kind of always been my bugbear, is stuff that's like offensively average or like.
But the Beatles
Just
aren't
okay.
offensively average. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, as musicians, as...
And Sam Mendes is not an offensively average filmmaker, so I'd love to be proven wrong. But yeah, to answer your original question, it would be like, let's just make an interesting doc or just go crazy with it, fuck with it.
On Alex Ross Perry docos, did you see Video Heaven?
No, I missed it, and I really, really want to see it. Looks
Unbelievable.
very cool.
Very, very, very much in our wheelhouse, in this show's wheelhouse. It's, as you know, it's close to 3 hours long. It's actually on the Criterion channel at the moment.
Oh, true.
I'll give
Okay.
you my login.
All right.
Yeah, I can
All
watch it.
right.
But it's a history on the, the rise, the birth, and the death. Sorry, the birth, the rise, and the death of the video store.
Cool.
And how it goes from like a hobbyist thing to the blockbuster to then DVDs not being able to be rewound, essentially being the killer, almost like the first domino to fall. But the whole film is made up of footage of film and television shows we've seen set in video stores.
Cool.
So it's like a
Wowza.
collage,
Yeah.
essentially, with, I think Ethan Hawke might be the narrator for the film.
Isn't it Maya? I thought Maya Hawke
Sorry,
was-
it's Maya.
Yeah.
There's a scene with Ethan Hawke. I forget which movie, but it's one of his 90s movies where he's picking a video out. It might be a
Oh,
reality,
right,
but
okay,
sorry,
cool.
that's what I'm thinking of right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But Maya narrates it. And
Wow.
it's just, I saw it at Sydney Film Festival. Again, shout out movie festivals. Such a great movie. So good. And I worked in a video store, so I too I was at like the later end. I was at kind of like the start of the fall, almost. And just such a great film. But I'm like 2 for 2 innovative documentaries.
Yeah, he's making very cool stuff like that. Yeah, just playing with the medium and like all that stuff. I feel like will start to trickle through. Hopefully,
I do too.
yeah.
We've spoken about manga as movies. We've spoken about music as movies. You also mentioned video games, one of your earliest memories. And that's something that we bonded over. And I think we share quite a similar a similar library of references. Your Hideo Kojima's, Shigeru Miyamoto, basically any Japanese auteur. Has there ever been a good video game based on a movie?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Straight out the gate. This is great. What is it?
Yeah. One's a cheat because it's a TV series, The Last of Us, HBO. I think.
Oh no,
that's
I
been
mean
great.
A video game based on a movie.
Oh wow. Okay. Sorry, misread the question.
I that's why I was so shocked at your like eagerness.
Well, GoldenEye.
Yeah, it's kind of the only one, right?
I mean, it's the Uber text of it.
Kind of invented the
changed the first-person shooter genre.
Multiplayer first-person shooter, yeah.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't have Fortnite without GoldenEye 64.
No, unfortunately. Should we go back in time?
Yeah.
Kill our darlings.
Sounds like the Nirvana
Wesley
the band.
Snipes meme.
Sounds like the plot of Nirvana the band, the movie, the show. Show the movie.
Gotta get rid of GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'd have to. That's a classic one where I'm like, damn, I wish I'd studied.
I can't think of any outside. Look, I just came up with that one then. I'm not studying for this.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously a plethora of horrible ones.
Yeah.
You've got your Superman. That's not a movie, but you've got obviously E.T., one of the famous landfill.
Killed the video game industry in the 80s.
Killed the industry.
Created a myth.
Yeah. I've always been curious. One of the great things about emulation is getting to jump into games that were kind of out of your budget, or much like the Disney Vault just became out of circulation, impossible to play when you're our age. I'm thinking of jumping in and playing a bunch of movie adaptations. One at the top of my list is the Barry Levinson, Robin Williams vehicle Toys.
Oh wow!
They made a platforming game out of that. Yeah,
I'm picturing the ad for it in like
a Nintendo magazine,
Video Game Monthly.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Have you heard of the film? Again, this is actually a perfect this is a circle, what I'm about to tell you. Have you heard of the film Tasmania Story?
No.
It's a Japanese film from 1990.
Right.
It's about a boy who I believe his mother dies. He lives with her in Japan, so he has to go live with his father, who's moved to Tasmania.
Cool.
And he's in Tasmania with his father. I believe he's having a bit of a Dot and the Kangaroo experience. There was a Game Boy made for it,
Yeah.
and Joe Hisashi does the score.
Oh, wow. What?
Yeah.
How do I not know about this?
I know, right? Isn't that just...
That's wild.
Yeah.
Did they shoot on location?
Yeah, it was shot in Tasmania. I think it was for Fuji TV. Might have been a television movie there. If anyone from Japan is listening, I'm trying to do a screening of this in Tokyo.
Cool.
Because I kind of think it's the only
and then
film.
one in Hobart.
And then one simultaneously. Maybe you can do the Hobart one.
Yeah. We'll get Joe Hisashi over.
But there's a Game Boy game, and they've completely like anglicized the cover, and there's kind of this blonde-haired kid running around with a thylacine, which international listeners might know as a Tasmanian tiger. But I've never watched it. I'm trying to hunt it down.
I've never heard of this.
There was a story recently about maybe the only print of it being restored in Australia or something. I need to track this down.
Yeah, right.
Isn't it fascinating? What an
That is
insane
fascinating.
relic.
It's also funny because my different brain bits are getting mixed up. And when you said Tasmania Story, my brain went to New Zealand Story, which was a video game where you play as cartoon Kiwi birds. I'm
Same thing happens to me,
that's
brother.
not a film, is it?
Same thing happens to me. Has there ever been, as a writer, like what movie gets writing right? And obviously The Shining doesn't because your family's still alive. But I was wondering, is there a movie that we've ever seen like an on-screen journalist or, I don't know.
There's lots of great journalism films. And I think I realized recently I've actually got a kink for that. I really like journalism
Spotlight.
movies. Spotlight's amazing. All the President's Men.
Which I rewatched over when Redford died recently.
Yeah, great
film. One of the greats. And then it made
me watch... The
watch...
Insider. Russell Crowe and Al Pacino.
Amazing.
Michael Mann, I think. Is
Zodiac?
Zodiac, another absolute banger. So I recently watched She Said, which is the journalist who broke the story on Harvey Weinstein. That was great. I think that all of those do a good job of like actually tapping into the journalistic element of fact checking and doing research and getting your sources and like
the methodicalness.
Yeah, and they work so well as films because it really is that drama, that like that spirit of like it's in the people's interest, right?
Yeah,
it's like these shadowy cabals, government wrongs, like horrendous acts performed by people with too much power, or being brought to justice through a friggin' news story. Like that really taps my pleasure centers.
I really love seeing in All the President's Men just the how, I guess, arduous it is, obviously, compared to where you work now in your version of a newsroom. And just like the level of fact checking and having to dial and having
the resources,
the giant phone with with the shoulder pad so you didn't like crick your neck too much, and just having to quote. And it's just like,
there's a romantic, it's
absolutely
definitely romanticism.
And less smoking now too, I've noticed.
yeah, that too. And less misogyny.
Yeah.
Season 5 of The Wire. Is it season 5 where they get in the newsroom too? Yeah,
where
that
they
does a
invent
good job.
The murderer.
Yeah.
They wag the dog, so to speak.
So good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was just a thing I learned about myself literally in the last year. I was like, oh, I actually really like journalism films.
And not just Peter Parker and Clark Kent, not just superheroes
Real
with illiterate
Jedi's.
names.
But there is one, I haven't seen it yet, but I forgot what it's called. It's Hayden Christensen's in it.
Oh yeah, Shattered Glass.
Shattered Glass,
Great movie. So underrated in
haven't
his
seen
canon.
it. So that's next on the list of journo flicks.
Also scratches the biopic itch. It's based on a true journo.
Yeah, I mean, most of those do. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You know.
Yeah.
And then
Zodiac, obviously, President's Man.
Yeah, and I think what triggered it was there's a doco that's come to Netflix recently called Cover Up, which is a doco on Seymour Hersh, who's like a Pulitzer Prize winning journo, and like it basically just covers his career. So like he covered the Vietnam War, Watergate, and it does a great job of like updating. He's clearly currently working on like Israel Palestine. He broke a lot of the stuff around the Guantanamo Bay mistreatment. It's a really heavy watch. Like,
so you've seen
really
it?
Intense, yeah.
Film or series?
It's a doco, so it's like
cool.
like 2.5 hours or something.
Oh, amazing!
But after that, I think that's when I was like, oh, I think I have a kink for journo movies.
Yeah, they scratched that itch that. I mean, kind of Zodiac doesn't, because it doesn't get resolved, but it's almost like...
But it does, because it does such a good job of honing in on the obsession.
Yeah.
The idea that, like,
yeah.
you know, Robert Downey Jr.'s character is, like, the charming, like, super talented guy, and he's broken by it.
He's living in a boat by the end of it, drinking blue cocktails. Yeah.
And then Jake Gyllenhaal is so
Actually,
relatable.
the best shot, him in the bar with the oxygen tank while drinking booze.
Yeah.
One of the
Choosing the TV.
Yeah.
And then Jake Gyllenhaal's character... essentially becoming an author and becoming a journey because he's so obsessed with wanting the truth, and that weird circumstantial thing of spoiler, you know, in real life we don't know who did it,
and all the suspects are kind of dead essentially.
And that's a real fucking grown-up ass movie, I reckon. It's like, if
Fincher ranking, where does that land for you?
Oh man, it's gone up. Like
it's 1 or 2 for me. It goes between that and Social Network all the time.
Similar with Old Boy, it's Fight Club, because I'm just such a believer in
saw?
like, no, I saw 7 before Fight Club.
Oh, really? Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I was right in that
dude, it was one of the
era of, like, you know,
one of the first
poster
DVDs
on the
I
wall,
got.
like, have you seen Fight Club? Like, all that thing.
One of the great, I've spoken about this last episode actually, one of the great physical releases too.
Yeah. So good.
Invented the special edition, the fake out with the menu. But no, Fight Club's very high for me. And I would love to do a rewatch, because I reckon it's been 15 years since I've seen it.
I think it's starting...
It's aged well.
Well, I'm curious, because I've sort of seen that it's starting to be like getting a bit of a sour reevaluation. Like everyone being like...
The clavicularness of it all.
Yeah. And being like, oh, you know, it's sort of encouraged this, like... You know, instead of being a proper critique of the fragile male ego, it sort of encouraged it and is responsible for that. And I'm like,
interesting.
That feels kind of unfair, and also
feels reductive and like a poor reading of the film.
Yeah, and people at the time were being like, "Oh, it's all style over substance," and I'm like,
absolutely
"It's a goddamn stylish film."
Oh, it's incredible.
Like,
great inventive use of CG at the time.
Yeah.
Not for explosions or not for...
Going through a rubbish bin.
Going through a rubbish bin, going through a brain, the IKEA catalogue appearing around.
Great shot.
Yeah, like, it's such a great use of CG. And an amazing score too.
Edward Norton's best performance.
Oh, easily.
Hands down.
As the narrator.
So
you didn't base your personality on Fight Club?
I mean, a little bit for a while.
Oh, really?
There. Yeah, them and Akira were kind of competing for attention.
How did you work Fight Club into your personality? Did you have split? I'm sorry, should I say personalities? Or,
yeah. No, I think it was like I would get teased in high school because it was like, oh, you're, you know, the kid that loves Tool and Fight Club, and I'm not like a masculine, stereotypical masculine
You broke the
presenting
mold. Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
But it was just, and I could see the irony in that.
You're a
but,
red-blooded fella. Sometimes you just like that shit.
But then I ended up like getting really obsessed with Chuck Palahniuk, the author of Fight Club. I read like, I don't know, 15 of his novels and just got really into...
What's the plain one? The... Survivor. Great book.
Yeah. He's a great like pulpy writer, but then also like Fight Club, there's this weird sort of like armchair couch philosophy to it. I think that's kind of what...
And a satire
biting satire, and it's like
I see him like almost a contemporary or the next gen of like a Bret Easton Ellis, kind of picking up that where if you read those works kind of at face value, you're going to be seeing
you are the problem.
You're seeing
it's
very
like Joker.
violent exactly.
Joker's the modern equivalent. The whole like we live in a society like that's Fight Club, and I get that.
But that's a reading, and it's like you can also look at it at so many different ways and scratch that surface. Because I mean, it wasn't until like American Psycho, I think, had an amazing adaptation by Mary Hanlon.
Yep. Yeah.
That you're like, oh, okay, cool. So it is a satire. You know what I mean? Like because that book was banned and that book was wrapped in plastic. It was so I think people just thought it was a straight up snuff book, essentially.
Yeah.
But no, far from it. Like it's a hysterical book. It's insane, and it's kind of like a mental breakdown in real time, diarized.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Has Palahniuk's works been adapted into any other films?
Has what? Sorry,
have any of Palahniuk's other books been adapted? And
yes,
there's that one with Sam Rockwell.
Yes, that's the one I was going to mention.
Choke.
Yeah,
that's right.
Which is not bad,
but never reached the.
But it feels like the moment have very much passed. I think if like any of his other works had been like optioned and made in the way sooner, because it was quite a while after. I think Choke's like 2004 or something.
Fight Club's 99.
Yeah.
That feels like the ship has sailed.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
and the culture moved on then. And also like I think similar to Train Spotting, like Fight Club has this energy about it that feels like it has a vitality about it that's very timeless.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I've rewatched it recently and like in the last few years or whatever, and still being like, oh, this doesn't feel dated in a way of like, like 2000s smash zooms or something. It has its own kind of personality that feels kind of timeless.
It feels of the era, and like also Tyler Durden's wardrobe.
Yeah, iconic.
One of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, I definitely need to rewatch that.
Yeah, and again, I think Fincher, Park Chan-wook is a good analog. Like Fincher is kind of America's Park Chan-wook in terms of like, he had a lot of the really kinetic early films, and then now something like The Killer, where it's like,
funny. You can watch it and it's quite funny.
Bitterly sardonic, and you can imagine the film it would have been if it been made by 90s Fincher.
Oh yeah, it would have been the coolest dude in the world. He would have been Tyler Durden.
Essentially.
But in this, he's like
and stylishly shot and
he's
technically
a loser.
done, and it's almost like
he's pathetic.
Hang on,
he's not that good at his job.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually very similar. Now you mention it, tonally to No Other Choice.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there's a double bill in that.
Yeah, I see that working.
I'm really curious to see him shooting a Tarantino script.
Is that something you're really looking forward to this year? Would you put that at the top of like most anticipated, or is it more curiosity?
I think maybe curiosity is a good way to put it. I think I'm a little bit jaded. I'm kind of like not Tarantino to Finch it out, but there's something about that where it's like they're both such strong personalities and such strong.
And Tarantino is producing it as well, isn't he? I believe.
It's kind of like there's a very small window in which that will be like a phenomenal combination of flavors, or it could just be like, oh man, I don't want bolognese sauce in my ramen,
because it's been so long since Tarantino has allowed an auteur to direct a screenplay. Yeah, I mean, he obviously did with Oliver Stone and Tony Scott in the early days for True Romance and Natural Born Killers.
That was also his way of like clawing up the game.
Exactly. Too. So it feels really strange to see it, and I know it's not as simple as him writing this script for David Fincher. I mean, for all intents and purposes, this was at one point the fabled final film, right? And he dumped it. I think it was called The Film Critic maybe at some stage.
We haven't even mentioned the title, by the way. We've just broed out.
Oh, yeah. The Adventures of Cliff Booth.
Yeah, so it's sort of sequel to Once Upon a Time. But
yeah, and then the script, I think, as he was working on it, started to include Cliff Booth, and I think Brad was tapped, and he was like, I can't wait, this is great. And then when Tarantino dumped it, I do believe it was Brad that resurrected it on the condition that Tarantino said, like, you need to find a filmmaker that's as good as me to make it. And then Brad...
What a flex.
Well, it was something like, it's like, I get final say on the director and allow it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay. And he got Fincher.
I got my mate.
And then he's like, well, okay, yeah, let's do it.
And also, at least from the trailer, it looks like it's like, we're just having a bit of fun. I don't think this is like...
Yeah.
I don't think anyone involved is kind of being like, this is going to be my...
To use a PTA analogy, it looks like a licorice pizza and a Inherent Vice more than a There Will Be Blood or The Master.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
totally.
kind of really want to see Fincher operating on that level. It has been...
As long
it might
as
be the first time.
The other thing too is it's like it takes so long to get stuff from those guys that there's a little element of me being like, oh, this isn't quite what I wanted. Like if there's something about it that feels a bit safe or a bit like...
It's like getting a collab album when you really love one of the artists and you're like, I was just really hoping
But just the time thing, like if you guys can knock out a collab and then get right back to pumping out whatever your next project is, awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't, I feel like we're going to be waiting another 6 or 7 years before we get another Fincher project or whatever Tarantino decides to bow out on.
The two things that I don't love, I have a complicated relationship with Fincher's Netflix deal because they're obviously just saying like, yeah, do what you want, which is great. But I also want to see these things in theaters and I want to see them outside of a one-off screen. You know what I mean? It's just really because I'm like...
I want to see these things on my 4K shelf.
100%. Oh, yeah. And then the other side, these are the two things that I kind of feel about when I think about this film. There's that. And then there's this whole... I really don't like Tarantino's 10-film limit he's placing on himself because he's already broken it to a degree.
Yeah, it's just myth.
I get it when you're like 20 and a film bro and you're like, oh yeah, perfect canon, that's sick. He's already like, Death Proof isn't that great. Is Kill Bill 1? Is it 2? I don't know. He did you know what I mean? It already breaks itself. So I think that's stupid. But then I'm like, Martin Scorsese's making some of the best movies, not just of his career, but of like any filmmaker right now.
What a king.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like, why would you want to stop yourself from doing that?
Yeah.
I find that such an odd, like final full stop to put on your career for no real reason other than you thought that someone got washed once when you were a kid and you haven't really grown out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's really immature, I find.
Yeah, totally. It's almost like that thing of like a band will, leave a band and start a new project and you get a whole new chapter and a whole
And you're
new
like, why wasn't this...
discography.
Yeah. No, I'm really curious. It's just a bummer that it's a streaming movie to a degree. I really hope they change. I hope that the recent Warner Brothers purchasing and then losing the right to purchase Warner Brothers has inspired them in some way. Because you've got Gerwig's Narnia coming out this year as well.
And talk about another one I'm curious about.
Yeah. Another person who's in a bit of a Netflix group, it seems.
It feels like a gauntlet being thrown down.
From who?
From Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, sure.
Because... like phenomenal. I love her stuff. Like, Little Women was so... Actually, Little Women's a good comparison because it felt like we've already got a great Little Women. Do we need another? And it was like, oh, okay, yours is
love that.
The superior.
Wrote about it actually last week as great film book adaptations as films.
It's terrific.
Yeah, because I love that ending. The way she's like, well, you can have both.
Yeah.
Great. Such a cool masterstroke.
And then obviously Barbie, where everyone was like, you're making a movie out of a toy? You're crazy. And then it becomes like
it was
this
a Lego movie too. Remember when the Lego movie was announced and everyone's like, what do you mean you're making a Lego? And then it was a Lego movie. And then the same thing happened with Barbie, but on such a grander scale because you had like the biggest actors in the world in it.
So my knee jerk to Narnia is like, you're doing a Narnia? Like they didn't work out great for Disney. And also I'm of the school that Ring's superior to Narnia. Yeah. But then I'm also like, well, that's exactly the knee jerk reaction
they want you to have
to it. So and she's on a killer run, so I'm really curious to see
Magician's
what
Nephew.
That's like. Yeah,
let's wait and see what that uncle like.
Yeah, go Greta.
Have you ever come to a film late because everybody said you should watch this, you should watch this?
I was hoping you'd ask this. Yes, I have. Titanic.
Okay.
Yep.
And tell me about this.
As in, I hadn't watched it. I didn't see it when it came out. Didn't watch it for years. I can't even remember now.
Because you would have been 12, 13 maybe.
I became Tarantino. I made it a part of my like.
You're like, I'm only watching 10 movies in my life.
Yeah,
then I'm out.
It just became this thing of like, this film is so huge, and like I was like what 15, so I was
like,
like,
it came out like, how old were you in 97?
Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
Maths 13.
13. Yeah, I was 12.
So there was an element of like, I was like, that's not Terminator. That's not Aliens. Like,
So at that point,
why is he making a movie about a boat sinking?
So your
That
Cameron
sucks.
relationship was like Arnie, Aliens, True Light. Yeah, okay.
And even like,
And you were like, you didn't know at the time that he made that movie just so he could go to the Titanic, which he's now basically said.
so for ages I hadn't seen it, and then I very like stubbornly like made it a thing of like, yeah, I haven't seen that film and I'm not going to. And then eventually we did like a friends screening of it.
Really?
And
How long later?
Oh, many years. Like,
yeah, right.
This was in the late 2000s or early 2010s.
So we're not talking about the double VHS, which was at video stores. Okay.
No, definitely not. Yeah, and watched it with a group of friends, and it was so fun because everyone was kind of like weighing in with jokes and stuff, which feels a bit like of a sacrilegious experience to view it that way. It's like,
so they'd already seen it.
Not as intended. They'd all seen it. They're all like, we're doing this because you've got to see Titanic.
Yeah. How did you feel in the lead up? You're like, I'm going to not like this. Or...
Well, then I started being like, I just stopped being so pig-headed.
Like,
just
13 Oscars,
take
maybe,
it for what it is. Maybe it's a good film.
Yeah.
And it's a good film. It's like all the stuff, I respect it.
Yeah. They kind of don't make them like that anymore.
No, they don't.
And at that time,
he certainly doesn't.
They didn't make them like that either.
No.
No, I mean, it's the last time he cast an all-human cast.
Yeah. And
he hadn't been to the ocean, the Mariana Trench at that stage.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
That does something to a motherfucker. And you know what? I love the Avatar movies. I want that on the record again.
Well, so this is where, I don't know if you know this, I haven't seen them.
Oh, man.
I haven't seen any of them. Yeah.
This is great for us, though. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I unabashedly love them. They're the broadest films of all time. If you thought Titanic was broad, that is a subtle masterpiece. In the if you didn't quite catch the metaphor of the boat sinking and so does their love, but love is forever and so is the Titanic wreck. If you thought that was broad, then boy, have you not seen the Avatar films. But I also think, and this sounds insane, but I do think their success is so obvious to me because they feel to me like the first truly global film series. I know Vin Diesel thinks by casting an array of different colored people and family in his films under the production company, mind you, I believe it's called One Race.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Firstly, great pun.
Great pun, and it has a tire at the start when it flashes, so you don't immediately
Should we call it Fast and the Furious Productions, Vin? No, I got an idea.
And it sounds like also extremely, if you had a white hood.
Family.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. One race.
I find the Avatar films are truly the global films because it's like just alien. You know what I mean? And it's about like saving the planet. And it's this very universal thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. And they're broad as hell and we've seen it before. But so is Star Wars. We've seen Star Wars before Star Wars. We'd seen... I just think that there's this great modern text and there is this joke that like, oh, no one remembers anything. And it's like, they've made more money than any other movie ever. Like people can name the Avatar characters.
I've had a big discussion with Anna about this recently, and I was like, I don't know how much you want to go down the rabbit hole, but basically was saying that like,
I'm down there. Come with me.
Well,
I'm in the rabbit hole.
There's the whole school of people who are like, it sucks that James Cameron's just going to make Avatar movies till he dies.
And we've kind of resigned ourselves to that in a way. Where if he's not doing a POV, you are a submarine in the Mariana Trench documentary for Nat Geo, he's
the
probably
true Avatar.
He's probably going to tell his stories through Pandora, which seems to have been the last 20 years of his life.
Yeah. And I don't have a horse in the race either way with that. And if anything, I'm kind of like, that's cool. He's doing his thing where he's like
he's pushing
made his own
boundaries.
World. He's very much like a maverick now. He's just like, hey, I'm going to be over here making these billion-dollar blockbuster films.
He's very anti-Hollywood. He's left the system. He lives in New Zealand. He makes these films essentially there. He grows his own food. Like he sounds like he's doing it in the best way possible if you have that much money. Yeah.
And I think maybe that's the weird sort of resistance is like all of the stuff like I love that you love the Avatar films.
Yeah, a lot of people do because they're like, it's like when I love the Fast and Furious movies, but also I'm like, extremely aware that they're not breaking new ground.
Yeah,
or
they're
not
popcorn fun.
Yeah, but I love the Avatar movies. I love those big, broad stories. I think they're beautiful to look at. It's really interesting. Like James Cameron is like quite an open. He said he's used a lot of hallucinogenic drugs in his youth, and this movie is kind of like seeing that image put to screen. It's like seeing Yes album covers brought to life. You just kind of like, you know,
which sounds like it should be up my alley. I think
I'm
that's
so shocked.
Yeah, when
but
the first
I do
Avatar,
say, watching them in 2D on a small screen,
not
it's
quite
just,
the same.
Absolutely not. It's the only film series that's like earned the right to be shot in 3D.
Yeah,
it's so great.
maybe I'll wait till like they screen.
I think they'll do
it back to back at the Sphere, and you and I will go over.
Bro, couple gummies,
to LA.
lay back. I'll be painted up blue. I love it, man. I just think they're great. I think it's cool too that he's carved out an original IP.
Yeah, respect.
It's not based on books. It's not based on comics. And he's like, I'm telling my stories about saving the whales through these now.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually super effective. I think I would much rather watch a whale conservational film. Conservationist? Yeah, conservationist.
WCF.
WCF.
It's a subgenre. Yeah.
I would rather watch that be about like 9-foot blue baddies looking after whales that have, you know, horns or something. I'd rather watch it through that. I think it's just cool, and I think it's just an easier pill to swallow.
The other thing too is like when Leo's of an age, I feel like, okay, maybe if I watch them then through him, that I'll like appreciate it and not be this like jaded older, like I've had my Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, I don't need these big blue guys.
No, it's good not to be that, because biggest Star Wars fan I know is myself, and I love them. I'm like, oh man, it's so cool. This must have been what the original trilogy was like before books, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But wait, I've completely detracted. Titanic.
Yeah.
How was it?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I was wrong. I shouldn't have waited so long. But the best part about that film experience of watching with the group was a gag my mate Sam made, which was...
Had he been waiting 20 years to make this in front of you or something?
I don't... he's a funny dude. I think this was off the top of the dome. Either way, it was genius. But he was... it's like... There cuts to a shot of the boat being like, woohoo, like, you know, the old steamy thing going off. Retelling jokes is always great when they don't land. But, and he was like, you know, the whole thing is narrated by old Kate Winslet, right?
Yeah.
Sam just jumps in. He's like, toot toot, went the boat. I assume, I don't know. I was somewhere else in the ship. And just pointing out, like, in one gag, the entire sort of like narrative thing doesn't quite make sense.
Because how would she know that?
Yeah, all of that.
How would she know that?
Just film logic, like whatever.
How did she know that he won his ticket in a card game?
Yeah.
They didn't talk about that while they were fucking in the car.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they did.
Maybe.
I'm sure James Cameron, though, who is the pettiest motherfucker, which I love him for, as he did the famous myth-busting episode of Could Have Jack Survived on the Door, and he was like, no, they won't. And he went and recreated...
Why. Let me show you. I've thought about this, yeah.
In fact, here's a movie I made about... Like, insane. But I guarantee you, in his head, he's like, oh, no, they spoke about that in between thrusts or in between...
Yeah. That was covered. But I shouldn't have waited so long. It's not like one of my favourite films, but...
I saw the 3D 4K remaster last... Valentine's Day they re-released it, or maybe the year before with Alexi.
What a sweet date!
And it was great. I tell you, seeing those.
I'm flicking my eyebrows at you. People can't see, but
that's why James Cameron loves 3D so much. Wow, we are. On the flip side, severely underrated film that you go to bat for that no one has seen, but you will try to convert anybody you can.
Oh yeah. Well, it has a very good reputation already, so I don't think it needs to convert anyone. Actually, there's two, but more something to like, I feel like these films should be signal boosted and they haven't been seen by enough people. Number one is Mad God. Have you seen Mad God?
Yeah, incredible.
Phil Tippett.
Speaking of Star Wars.
Yeah, so he did stop motion animation. This is like a lifelong project. He was working on it, kept running out of money, And it's not an easy film to recommend because it's literally a nightmare. Like... It's the very loose narrative base is there's...
It's the flip side to James Cameron's Acid Dream. It's the Acid Nightmare.
Yeah. Like, very, very loose narrative is there's like a sort of soldier character in a post-apocalyptic world and he has to like go down multiple layers, and then the further he goes, it sort of just becomes more abstract and literally just becomes like a hellscape. It's like... makes Tool film clips look like Disney. It's really full on, but like, yeah, going back to that whole childhood thing of like the craftsmanship of an Akira, just being like, that's so cool that this guy dedicated his life to make this thing that...
So was he just shooting it like on and off throughout life, like when he had some money and time?
Yeah, it was
Incredible.
literally over 30, 40 years or something.
I didn't know that.
Would have assistants who would come and go, and with his wife was a big part of the project as well. And yeah, and there's just something about that where it's like that mythos around it. So
that's so sick. And for those who don't know, he, in layman's terms, he made the 3D chess set on the Millennium Falcon, the creatures.
The Ed 209 in RoboCop, like all of these iconic, handcrafted effects from 80s films.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
So that's one. And the other is Angel's Egg, which is like a cult mid-80s film between Yoshitaka Amano is like all of the artwork.
And Mamoru Oshii,
the director
of Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah. And it's essentially like a tone poem. Yeah. It's very... You could literally just chill out and fall asleep to it.
Yeah. I'm sure people did in the screening I saw at Sydney Film Festival last year.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it's like... Again, it's like a pretty... like nerdy out there recommendation, but I just think it's beautiful.
Beautiful. Was it mid-80s?
Yeah, like 86, I want to say.
And very hard to find for up until recently because
the good folks at Umbrella...
Shout out to Umbrella. Please sponsor this show. I'll send you an email soon.
Have done a 4K remaster, and I wanted to tell you on mic, I've got you a copy and it's on its way.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Wow, I like this new... maybe this could be a tradition of the show. The person who comes on, and it's in the... Oh, dude, that's so lovely. Thank you.
Because I want you to... just true to my word, like, if there's a film I want to convert people, it's like... There's a copy on the way, so check it out.
He's putting his money where his mouth is. No, great movie. I was very lucky to see it on the big screen last year. Hadn't seen it before. I was always tempted by some YouTube rips in the day. And then when they were getting pulled down, and I was like, I think something's happening. Copyright strikes. Interesting. And then this was announced. I think it premiered, not internationally, but definitely maybe in Australia at Sydney Film Festival last year. And incredible movie. Great score. Beautiful visuals.
Again, a craftsmanship thing. I'm just like... Yeah, and that's like going back to the Tarantino Fincher thing. That's like a case where it was like, I'm not sure if those two flavors are going to vibe, and then they vibe perfectly.
And it's such a wild... make films that often anymore.
No, and it's such a wild...
He makes pizza in Death Stranding too. He invented...
what a career.
Pizza dough? Karate dough? Karate dough. Yeah.
I mean, that's the career you dream of. Like, if I've written a book, I hope I'm like an unlockable character in some...
Death Stranding 5.
Whatever fortnight of the 2030s is going to be. I'll know I've made it.
Yeah.
But Angel's Egg is, it's a stunning film. And the other cool tie-in with that is that in recent years, I've really gotten into this cult fantasy sci-fi writer called Gene Wolfe.
Okay. Cool name.
Yeah. And wild bit of trivia, he's the dude that sort of invented the machinery that makes Pringles. So there's a myth that...
Wait, in real life?
Yeah, in real life.
Do you mean the can it comes in, the chip itself, or the whole thing?
The engineering that it took to make the chip that curvy curve thing. He invented that, and the myth is that the logo, the Pringles man with the big bushy mustache, is based on Gene Wolfe.
Really?
Because he rocked a big bushy mustache. Anyway, I discovered him because I was on a Reddit thread of the if Dark Souls was a book.
Yeah.
So
so this should be a two-parter. We haven't even talked about FromSoft or Hideo Kojima.
It's your first 3-hour app.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll try and shortcut this, but basically, From Software created Elden Ring most famously. Yeah. The Dark Souls series. This name kept coming up, Gene Wolfe. And he wrote this series of like sci-fi / fantasy books in the 70s called The Book of the New Sun.
S-O-N or S-U-N?
S-U-N.
Okay.
And it's like very high concept. It's like so far into the future that it's like the sun is dying.
Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. The technology is so dilapidated and we're so past post-apocalyptic that the characters themselves, the way that it's written, you think you're reading a fantasy novel because they're describing technology as if it's magic,
Right.
but it's actually
But like a telescope or
yeah,
a car.
like one of and like Dark Souls, it gives you like very opaque details. And you have to
Yeah.
kind of put it together to figure out what it's doing. Great example is early on, he's talking about looking at a painting in a library, and there's a man in a suit of armor standing on a rocky. It turns out he's looking at a photo of the moon landing.
Oh, right.
But the obscure way,
Yeah.
and it's this
It
every
appearing like
single
a cave painting to him and trying to discern what
Yeah.
that image is.
and it's this like every paragraph. Anyway,
oh, wow.
fast track. I've
Is
now
it
read
one book, a series? Or?
It's a 4-book series.
Okay.
I've now read 8 or 9 Gene Wolfe books, and bring it back to Angel's Egg. A lot of people are sort of like, there's definitely some sort of connections
Really?
here.
Okay.
Sort of energy and vibe to it. Like it's very Dark Souls vibe, but also
Because watching
Gene
Angel's Egg,
Wolfian.
I was constantly thinking of FromSoft or even Berserk, like many of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
kind of
dark fantasy horror.
Western philosophies and designs, but through the filter of like a Japanese animator or a manga artist. So with FromSoft, a game developer. But yeah, it is such a fascinating genre. This kind of very Germanic or imagery that we're used to seeing in Europe and being filtered through.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. It must just be that kind of like allure of the West, or it's so strange.
Yeah, a little bit. And
Yeah.
the Christian, there's like a Christian symbology
Wait,
reading
Christian
to
overtones
Angel's
in
Egg.
anime. Like,
Who'd have thought? But yeah, to go back to your original question, that's something where I'm like, yeah, I feel I would like sit people's down and be like, have you heard of Angel's Egg? Let's watch it.
You just did.
Because it's also like, it's like 50 minutes.
It's barely a
It's an
feature
OVA,
film.
so
Yeah.
I feel like
not
that's-
OVO. Drake, please keep the lawyers away.
I feel like that would be my way to be like, hey, it's only 50 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Angel's Egg, Mad God.
So we're huge fans of you just reminded me then of Hideo Kojima. Obviously, everywhere I look, I see him. And he is he's a video game creator, an author who takes such a liberty with his love of films, and is often credited as the video game designer of Game Maker, who has elevated games generations ago, Metal Gear Solid 1 onwards in particular, of being very cinematic.
It's like I'm playing a movie.
Exactly. And now that's kind of maybe not such a good thing, that every triple A game takes like 8 years to make now, and they are cinematic-esque, but they're still very much games. I still think, personally, Kojima is the only one that's really shown his love on his sleeve for cinema while pushing games forward. Would you ever want to see... This is a very roundabout way of saying, and that was context for people who were like, this is a movie podcast. Who the fuck's that? This is a long way of saying, would you ever want to see a film directed by Hideo Kojima? Do you think he exists in this perfect space where his love...
I don't think we need it, but it would be cool.
Yeah?
Like, the same way we were talking earlier about, musicians crossing over and what kind of a doco or what would a score sound like. It's just, it's that medium fascination, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, he's so good at that medium. What would it be like if he had the keys to this other kingdom? But it's also like, in a lot of ways, it scratches the itch already. And I think like the irony with someone like Kojima is, people like complain about the cutscenes because they're like, why is there this 2-hour cutscene at the end of my 40-hour walking simulator? And but that's kind of it's all baked into the experience of.
Do you think a film by Kojima would be like almost reductive? Because
A little
kind of like
bit.
he's already made, to put it in, he's made like 20 movies almost.
Yeah, definitely. But then it's also like, well, maybe the way that he approached video games as a medium and bringing cinema to it, it's like, what if he did the inverse? What if he came to cinema and he's like, I'm going to bring something else to screw with this cinematic medium? But also he's such a film buff that he might be like, well, finally now I've got the chance, I'm going to do the film I've always wanted to do or whatever.
Or maybe trepidation. Maybe he's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Maybe there's almost like
Yeah, I've been bigging myself up all this time.
I want to be a fan. I want to be a consumer.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he ends up making like the bad biopic.
Would you ever be interested in taking something like your book and turning that into a film? The Currents book? Like, is documentary making something, as a lover of film documentary, is that something that you've ever thought, or is like you're happy
I think
written word
I
is your
missed
strength?
the boat. I think I've like
No,
found myself.
don't say that.
Well, just like movies are like little miracles, let alone documentary.
Even
I know
the bad ones are miracles, you know? They are, like, literally.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think anytime I watch a film that I don't love, I'm like, well, it's kind of a miracle that this
happened. Exists. Yeah. And I know there's an element of like, you know, doco, there's a gung-ho approach of like, just grab a camera and get out there. But I don't know. I think if anything, I've always really wanted to have a go at a mockumentary.
Okay.
Like a Christopher Guest style. Because a lot of music docos, Sam, who I mentioned before, and Anna, like, have always had this funny thing of like, you know, like A Mighty Wind or...
like Pavements, by the sounds of it, taps into that.
A little bit, yeah. It's much more like sardonic. But yeah, this idea of just like, I don't know, it feels like a format that's so ripe for parody. And it's obviously been done before a bit, like the Documentary Now series.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Which sends up like every great documentary from Grey Gardens to... Well, all of them, really.
Yeah, it's so good.
Guy who's only seen Grey Gardens.
But yeah, it's like... that feels more approachable in a way because of the element of humor.
Yeah, and you are, you know, maybe it's not shown here, but I'm laughing in this part. And yeah, like I see that being a very natural fit for you.
Yeah, like the satirical element, like just even things like black and white photos, and they'll be like, yeah, we had Donkey Jenkins coming in. You cut to like...
some guy.
You know, like there's a really great doco on Yacht Rock. And, and they start talking about Jeff Skunk Baxter from Steely Dan. You know, and it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, that's not
this can't be real.
That's not already a joke.
Yeah.
Love Skunk. Love his work
we love Skunk.
on the frets, but like...
You love Big Skunk.
You know, it's just one dial away from being a parody.
No, that's hilarious. Look, I could talk for hours about Japanese things, spaceships, video games, but we got to wrap this up. Maybe you've already answered this, but what was the last film you saw that reminded you why you love films? And this can be an old or new film.
Oh, man. That's a good question. I don't know. I think the whole 4K thing has really, like, getting back into physical media again. Like,
what got you back in?
I think just the allure of like the like availability and the limited edition element. Like I said, Uncut Gems was one of my first,
like a gateway.
Yeah, and the allure of Criterion of like, here's this cultural artifact that has liner notes and artwork and is really like celebrating the medium.
You're a vinyl collector as well, and I see these
there's a big parallel.
Also now with you know, it is, I can see it now, like streaming, you know, it's such a business only equation. You get the song, you get the movie, you don't get special features, you know what I mean? And so I do understand you wanting to preserve that thing as a physical thing.
Yeah, and I was a big DVD head. Like I had a big DVD collection with like watch audio commentaries, all that stuff. I regret
getting rid of mine.
I regret getting rid of them all. And like a lot of that low quality stuff now is like, I would probably struggle to watch it at that quality, but now it's come back around. And again, the vinyl is a great analog where it's like, there's a big rebuttal to this idea of like
transactional,
when transactional, but also when music is so accessible and so easy to access, it's just as easily disposed of. Yeah. You know, and you don't value it in the same way. And so I got into vinyl as a way of getting all of my favorite albums and artists and having it as something that like, if I want to listen to this, I have to get off of my ass, put it on the turntable, sit down and enjoy it as an experience as intended. And it's very similar. It's like...
You're not like in the gym getting yelled at by someone and got half an AirPod in and you're streaming it on a playlist that's been generated by an algorithm.
Totally.
Yeah, it's very purposeful. You're like, I want to listen to this now, or I'm curious and I want to hear what this sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's been the same thing with the 4Ks. So like, you know, getting Mulholland Drive and... sitting down and recently got a new telly.
Can you skip scenes on the 4K?
Sorry?
Can you skip... Is there chapters on the 4K? Because remember...
Oh, that's one of the rumors of it, right? Yeah.
Well, remember I had the DVD, the famous one with the instructions about what to think.
The 10 clues.
The 10 clues. And it was no chapters.
No chapters.
No, because he's like, I need you to watch the whole thing.
But it's also like an album. It's like, who's skipping chapters on a DVD? It's weird.
I don't think chapters should be on DVDs. Or digital media. I think I honestly don't think there should be.
Should be bookmarks. Like I get if you want to skip to a particular scene or something, just scratch that.
Or you're like, hallway shootout scene Matrix, like or pod race in episode 1, like things to test off the sound system are very easy to like bring up,
load up.
Yeah.
but yeah, just that whole presentation thing has really brought me back into it. And it's also made me think a lot harder about like, okay, am I actually going to watch this film more than once and not fall into the trap? Because like vinyl as well, there's this whole industry of like, I joked before, like films getting remastered and issued on 4K with all these special features that do not need to be.
You're like, The Hangover Part 2, really?
Yeah, like...
Do we need 6 commentaries?
All that stuff feels a bit icky.
Yeah.
And like every time I'm in like, because it's now part of my algorithm on YouTube and Insta.
Sure.
Every time it comes up, it's like the ugly mirror comes up and I'm like, oh no, it's another white man talking about how great this limited edition steelbook is.
Sitting in front of his collection.
Yeah. And like, I'm absolutely part of the problem, but I'm trying to be like just
selective.
A little bit more discerning about, not contributing to future landfill or, space in my house. But that long preamble is to say that like when I have selected stuff and I have it and I put it on, that's the stuff that makes me be like, yeah, cinema.
Oh, cool.
This is the reason.
Yeah.
And like I said, recently I'm getting the new TV and the 4K and all that stuff.
The day you sent me your photo of the delivery of coming home to the new TV.
Like it's here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've like turned to Anna a number of times, like Mulholland Drive, watching that recently and being like, this is so good.
Yeah.
Like this is literally the thing of like cinema in the home.
Yeah, it's like so obvious now too when like I speak to people younger than us and watching an entire movie on their phone while their head sideways in bed is just a normal thing.
That's wild to me.
And that's fine.
I'm old.
Like,
I'm old.
But I'm with you where I'm like, I sit here, I put on these headphones, I connect them to my TV and I watch a movie in complete darkness.
Yeah.
And maybe if that's being old school, then great. I'm fucking Ms. Krabappel.
Yeah. if being old's a crime, then lock me up.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, it's also I'm revisiting a lot of films that I really loved, and yeah, it's like vinyl in like a really cliched way. It's like you hearing them again, seeing them again. Like I watched The Raid the other day, and I'm like, this film rocks. And like, why would you not want to watch this film in like great clarity, great sound? Then like watch the special features of like
how the fuck they did those scenes.
They beat the shit out of each other for a whole day, whole 3 days. And I'm
those crazy Indonesians.
and I'm really looking forward to. They've just done Arrow Video has just done The Killer and Hard Boiled.
Oh, really?
In like
sick.
lavish 3
Yeah,
disc.
I saw they got a 4K remaster of Hard Boiled recently.
Yeah. And they were like insta buy, like spending stupid money on that and shipping to get them, because I'm like, these are the films now that make me realize like what I fell in love with, like the whole
And the promise of streaming has not come true, and titles that are more than like 15 years old are really hard to find. Like they just don't exist on most platforms.
And we're on the other side now, where it's like every goddamn company has their own service and you've got to have like 6 streaming services to cover it all.
Oh, it was a lie.
So it's part of that.
Yeah,
it's part of an element of like just the convenience of knowing like, I'm spending $30 to $50 up front, but if I want to watch that film, it's right there.
I got it for life.
It's not going to buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like an cottage industry that's being propped up by old cranks like us.
But it seems
that want Mad God and Angel's Egg on 4K. I fully respect that.
It seems to be finally what DVD was so much more hobbyist or casual. It wasn't even a hobbyist. It was casual. It was anyone who'd be at the Woolworths or Coles checkout and go, I'll grab Cats and Dogs 2 for the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
They were so everywhere, like DVD, and they were so cheap for a time. Like those early noughties to late noughties, they were so cheap. It was like 3 for $4, like $20 or something. And
totally.
so they were so dispensable, and it didn't matter what you got. So libraries just built so fast. But I do find it.
But that's streaming now. We've just removed the physical element.
And it's so interesting now that the physical stuff is like purposeful. You're like, well, I want this spine showing, and I'm not going to get the local. I'm going to order it from the UK at this price. I commend you, or damn you, for the person that got me back in. Remember all the questions I was asking you? And at work, I'm like, so where do you get this, and what price, what's shipping? And you were kind of the enabler. But I don't have a wife who can't yell at you. So it's great. But no, I just remembered today I also got Marty Supreme 4K.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that the collection is still growing.
So I have to keep myself in check, because I reached like early on, I'm just my obsessive personality. I bought like a lot up front, things, a lot of childhood stuff, like Street Fighter 2, the animated movie.
Yeah.
Like talking of great video
Speaking
game
of OVAs,
adaptations.
right?
Speaking of OVAs, and
Yeah.
yeah.
You excited for the new Street Fighter film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks camp as hell.
The tone of that trailer, I was just like, oh, okay, great. They're finally letting
They
someone
get it.
direct it who understands that Guile's flat top does defy gravity and thus must be presented as such. And I have an inkling that this person portraying Guile won't have a crazy coke habit either. Unlike Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was basically like...
It's Cody Rhodes, right? Like
It's
WWE.
Cody Rhodes,
yeah.
But and Jean-Claude Van Damme's kind of...
50 cents in it. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
it just seems like,
Eric
okay,
Andre?
I think these guys have figured out the source of
Balrog
like,
is 50 cents. Yeah, Eric Andre's in it. It seems great. An Australian UFC, I forget his name, Volkanich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because two threads there. One is that the original, like, much maligned Street Fighter.
Yeah, Kylie Minogue, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. All the people.
Raul Julia.
Like,
RIP.
has since, I think, justifiably become a bit of like a camp.
Yeah, like the Mario
Classic.
Brothers movie that came out at the
Yeah,
time, where
it's
people
like-
are like, oh, there is value in having a, when
They are
IP management wasn't cared about, like, and it was some screenwriter who'd walked past the cabinet
Yeah.
once and was like, yeah, I'll write a movie about this. And
Like,
it's
they're
just-
terrible adaptations, but they actually turned into like these weird, unique, quite fun.
Like the Mario
films.
Brothers movie, I think is so much better than the animated one.
Yeah, it's got a lot more personality. That's for sure.
Like it's got this
It's
weird
such a nothing
cyberpunk
burger.
edge. Like it could have been, and it was kind of like back then it was a pixelated 8-bit series. And
Yeah.
so you had to really, really kind of translate that and had a lot of liberty to, I guess, where now if you at all strayed from like the a Switch 2 essentially looks like the Mario movie now.
Yeah.
The animated one because of the advent of 4K graphics. And so like you have to look realistic if you want to not take a gamble. And so I kind of love that era where it was like, yeah, that's some like pixels, some sprites. I'm going to do my own thing over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper is Bowser. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, sure, why not?
Creepy tongue.
Yeah,
Check.
big ass tongue. Yeah.
But yeah, so I like that the new Street Fighter is still sort of weirdly paying homage to the original because it's leaning into the camp factor,
Yeah.
hiring all these celebrities for all
Yeah.
different parts.
Some
But-
stunt casting.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
two, and again, like haven't seen the film, but
Yeah.
like our biopic conversation about music versus doco and sort
Yeah.
of being like, just do something weird with it. I feel like they're just doing something weird with it.
Yeah. I think it's the director who shot a lot of the Eric Andre show.
Oh,
and
really?
Who collabs with Eric Andre
Oh,
a
now
lot.
I'm
So
more
it's just
excited.
kind of like, yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like embracing the inherent silliness of you're adapting a video game about people
Fighting.
with magic powers fighting.
Yeah. Who are like,
are you really going to get a like solid cinematic?
who represent their country while
Yeah.
they fight you.
Like the idea of applying
Yeah.
the same way the Hollywood biopic formula to like an artistic
Yeah.
career is going to end up with something that's like annoyingly average and
Yeah.
flawed.
Like if
Same with
it
the
went
video
that
game
route, the
adaptation.
last shot would be Ryu doing his first Hadouken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know how like every Netflix series has a joke that's like, I'm butchering it, but it's like, the Peach Boy was a 90s movie, but now in the Netflix era, you watch 8 episodes and he doesn't grab a peach till the final shot.
Yeah,
and it's just like,
exactly.
there's a world where the Street Fighter movie is that.
Yeah.
It's like, they fight in a street and then the movie ends and you're like, oh great,
Yeah.
now I have to actually watch.
So I'm looking forward. I'm
Oh, that's cool.
hoping that's going to be a
Yeah.
fun watch. I feel like that's like
Shot in Sydney.
Hey, let's all just go to the films,
Yeah.
the cinema, and like have a fun time with
Shot
this
here.
ridiculous film. But just quickly, that also reminds me on video game adaptations.
Hit me.
I was like umming and ahhing about saying this because I genuinely, it feels a little bit like, don't steal my idea. But
Yeah.
it's like, I think a really cool video game adaptation would be and I know they did it with Tetris and it wasn't so great,
Oh
but
yeah.
adapting how a game got made.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if the end of the Street Fighter film like pulls out and it's like, cool, we made the video game, and it's like all the Japanese developers celebrating that they made Street Fighter 2 as
those
like the
maniacs
ending.
at Capcom.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
even something like NBA Jam. There was a great
Yeah.
like equivalent of 33 1/3. There's a book series called Boss Fight Books.
Yeah,
based on video
sure.
games. I just finished the one on NBA Jam, and I'm just like, there's a screenplay here.
Yeah, because I was only 8 or 9 at the time, but I do know basketball was like so big on the rise because of Jordan, and you can kind of, I haven't read it, but I can already see the natural type of the dots to connect as to why that game was such a success.
Yeah.
I'll have to read it. I loved that game.
Oh, it's so good.
It ruined
I'll
what
lend
I
it to you.
thought basketball was. I thought it was two people with giant heads.
Why aren't the balls
per
on fire?
team. Yeah.
But I think that would be a cool
that is
a
cool.
cool approach to
Like
a video game
BlackBerry
adaptation.
or a...
And you bring up BlackBerry, like I feel like the front half of that film feels like an adaptation of Masters of Doom, which is the book about how John Carmack and the two Johns,
the ID
who formed id Software and made Wolfenstein 3D and Doom.
Yeah.
I feel the start of BlackBerry, I feel like
those two guys just jamming on computers together.
I'm almost convinced that Matt from Nirvana, there was some influence there, because I'm just like...
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, so that, I feel like that's an untapped vein. I don't know if any, screenwriters listening.
Free idea.
Well, I'd like to come on board, please.
Get an EP credit to Al. At least let him have a pass-through of the script.
I think there's something in there, like a video game adaptation that's around it.
We haven't really had one.
I need to see the Tetris film before I really back that idea up. But yeah, I think there's something there.
Are you looking forward to Matt Johnson's Magic the Gathering film?
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know, he was like a hardcore player and said he learned to read because of Magic cards.
To read?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know that bit.
He was a professional player and made it to the end and then didn't make it. So I'm so curious what approach the film will take, if it's going to be like a canonical set in the world of the Wizards of the Coast game, or if it's going to be
maybe he's doing what I'm talking about.
Maybe he's doing the guys making the cards.
He'll do the BlackBerry element of they came up with the cards and then we'll end up in the fantasy world.
Oh man, look, I could talk to you for another 2 hours.
Maybe
this has been amazing. Al, we probably Al, where can people get your book? I mean, I put it in the show notes, but
yeah, it's available through Bloomsbury Academic, so you can get it direct from the website. Most major retailers, so your Jeff Bezos warehouse, if you want to go down that route, QBD Books, Dimmicks, all the usual places. But the Bloomsbury is the solid RRP. They have sales similar to Criterion every 4 months or so, I think. So get around there.
Did you get that email today, 50% off?
I did.
But shipping's so hard, right? You have to kind of have a proxy.
Yeah, you got to figure out a loophole. But not with my book.
Not with your book.
Available worldwide.
Books aren't region locked, are they?
No. Imagine.
Hard copy books are not region locked. You just got to get one and read it. You can read in any country. It works. Works in any DVD player.
Yeah. No special features though.
Well, not yet anyway. Maybe this is. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been a joy talking to you for 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, likewise, man.
Similar but different things.
Yeah, likewise. And thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Sorry it went so long. I know how tired you are.
My new favorite podcast.
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you.
And also, just so you can stitch it in somewhere.
Yeah.
Shout out Gab Strum for the music.
I know.
Yeah.
What a lovely guy.
Awesome. I
reached out and I was like, I want you to, do you ever do this? And he's like, no. And I was like, I really think you should do this. I think you're perfect for it. He's like, I don't listen to podcasts. I don't watch movies. I'm like, even better.
Nailed the brief.
I was like, all I need is Tom Cruise saying movies popcorn. And I want his ex-wife also talking about movies while you create a sonic sound for it.
Perfect.
And he delivered 3 free versions and I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shout out Gab. Love your work.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you for shouting out. First person to realize we have a Triple J Unearthed High alumni doing the show.
Music royalty.
Yeah, and he is music royalty. Yeah, shout out. I hope he watches a movie one day. Maybe we'll get him on if he does.
Movies. Popcorn.